What's up, guys? How is it going?
What's up? What's up? What's
Hey,
up, everyone?
Hey everyone.
hello, welcome everybody. It's Dave from Nerdbox, joined by Marcus, Yoink, Lucas, and your friendly neighborhood Noah. Hopefully, everybody
What
had a
is
great New Year.
up?
So it is
Crank
the
and crunk.
yeah, well, it is the first Sunday of the month, so that means it's time to rank some franchises. And I got a little special something something here. Got a little nerd box whiskey decanter, and I got my nerd box glass here. So we're gonna do it up in style today. So, anybody
I don't
be
even have a
dropping?
regular drink. I'm so unprepared right now.
You are so unprepared. But look, at least me and you we're the unmasked guys. So I'm
Are
gonna
you
go
just
ahead
gonna
and
wear that
pour
the
it up.
entire time?
Bunch of dweebs over there.
Are you gonna wear that the entire time?
Oh, it's
Nah,
it's so
nah,
sweaty in
nah.
Oh,
here.
actually, wait. Don't you have a
It
second?
gets
You have
too
a
hot.
second glass. You have a second glass.
I have a second glass. Yes.
You wanna pour me a glass and I'll be right over?
Yeah, sure. I
You
will
take
pour
this
you a glass and
solo?
be
Right.
right over.
Hold on. I might have traffic on the way, so just give me a second. I'll be right over.
Okay. Well, then you can pour your own glass. While we have Noah reaching out to us here, coming this way, so we got some Scream news before we jump into our rankings. Marcus, you want to take us away on that piece? Let me go ahead and share the screen. Some interesting news that broke.
Yeah, so apparently Courtney has definitely confirmed to be returning as Gail for Scream 7. So that marks her, Nev, Mason Gooding is the only one returning so far for the core four from the last two films.
Hmm.
Uh and then I always butcher her name, McKenna, right? McKenna
Yep,
Grace. Yeah,
McKenna Grace.
McKenna
Yep.
Grace is confirmed, and then some other new heads. My main thing is I'm concerned about the time jump because apparently I don't know if it's McKenna or one of the other young actresses is
Hmm.
supposed to be one of Sid's daughters.
Yep.
So that's a huge time jump from 5 to 7.
Hmm. Yep.
As far as years are concerned, because they were in the baby carriage, they were in the stroller when she
Yep.
was out jogging. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm curious to see like how far in the future this movie is set and
Yep.
if they're going to mention the events of part 6 at least.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's we were talking about it on our last episode too, with the announcement of Mason Gooding coming back, and how can you have Mason come back without, his sister Mindy in
Mindy.
the film come
Yeah.
back? So,
Mm.
I'm just wondering, like, is Courtney Cox going to be kill bait? Is she going to make it through the entire movie again?
Mm.
It's like, ah, here we go again, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
I hope not. That bitch need to die.
Yeah,
Are we
But I
talking about
mean,
Bill Weathers?
Let me stop.
I'm excited nonetheless because Scream is my favorite horror franchise. To me, it's the only franchise that actually sticks to its continuity, you know, with
yeah,
each film. So, yeah.
yeah. So, what about when we really think about it too? So, before we dive into our Scream news, I don't know if Patrick Dempsey is going to return because Scream's supposed to start filming, and Thanksgiving's supposed to start
Thanksgiving
filming
too.
too.
Yeah, yeah. I
So,
mean, he might split his time up though. That's not unheard of.
mhm,
Especially if he was already quote unquote contracted.
yep,
So they probably like manipulate the schedules of filming between the two,
mhm.
maybe. So we'll see. Yeah, that's supposed to be gearing up to film soon too, I think. Right?
February.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so they're gonna film right at the same time. All right,
Mm.
let's see who we got with this to start us off. So we got CG with us.
CG, what is up?
What's going on, CG? We got Scott Walker with us. Hey boys, how
What's
you
up,
doing?
Scott?
What's this? I got some great news about Matthew Lillard. He said when he's done filming Five Nights of Freddy, he's doing another movie. Isn't that a clue for Scream 7? Well,
Nah, he actually got cast for season 2 of it was a popular show that just came out and that's what he's filming. He just got cast for a popular TV show.
yep.
Nice. Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, he was on a recent interview where he said that, hey, if I was in Scream 7, I would tell you or I wouldn't tell you. And you wouldn't know if I'm lying or not. So he's playing that game.
Yeah.
So,
He's playing the old Garfield approach.
yep, the Andrew Garfield approach.
The good
Uh,
old Duff.
King Matthew
That's
III.
awful.
I heard that David Arquette signed on for a future Scream project, so maybe he appears in the Kirby show since it could be a prequel to 5, explaining that Dewey got Kirby on the Force. I like that idea.
It's an interesting.
Yeah, I
that
wouldn't
idea.
mind flashbacks with Dewey. That would be cool.
Mhm. Yep,
That'd be slick.
that'd be really cool. And then you also got, is Kirby announced for 7 yet? Nope. No announcement.
Oh, that's what it is. So Cross, he's in the Amazon series Cross, the Alice Cross series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're gonna start filming that right after Five Nights at Freddy.
Yep. Oh, all right.
It was actually me the whole time.
Oh shit! Put the mask back on.
It's so
Oh,
much
Uh,
work.
It was so hot in there.
I don't think Hayden has been confirmed yet, but it'd be dumb not to include her.
That's a key factor for me going to see that movie. Is Hayden's
Yeah.
in it? I'm definitely going to see it. Then otherwise,
Mhm.
I'll think about it. But you got Hayden Panettiere in it. I'm good.
Yeah.
Because Samara Weaving has been killed or unalive, so she's not going to be in it. So we got to have
Mhm.
Kirby back in it. All right, so Danny is off doing some things today. He did send me his list for his rankings. I did drop a link in the chat here where you can go and vote on your rankings, also on our Facebook page and in our community page for YouTube. So you can go and do the live poll and see where everybody's at. Since Danny's not here, what we can do is we can start with him being number 1 because he's not going to be here to start his argument on that. And then we're going to do a little bit different
Just
from
runs
last week.
the chat.
Yep. No, you'll start us off first this time. So let me bring up the screen and we will go to this. So we're going in release order, guys. You want to go in reverse release order? What do you want to do?
Release order's fine for me.
Release order.
Or wait, do we want to go in reverse release order because we have some expected answers for 1 and 2?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a safe option.
Hmm.
Let's get
Steve,
juicy right off the
leave,
beginning.
let's leave that for the end though, because at the
Let's
same
leave-
time.
Let's leave
Juice
the
is-
first one for the last one.
Oh
That's
no,
the same
no.
thing. I was gonna say that's the same
I
thing
would
as doing
say
reverse order.
let's do it release order, because then once we get to the later ones, that's when the most
All right.
spiciest stuff will come out. I'm assuming.
Okay, so probably as expected. So for Danny, he has got Scream at number 1 in perfection. So yep, I think everybody's gonna
I can
probably
agree with
have
that.
this at number 1.
Yeah. I don't
so-
think we really have to question it. It was. It's hard for like seeing to put any other movie up on perfection in the franchise because like it's such a like revolutionary
Mhm.
concept, and the reveal, albeit one of them being pretty obvious throughout the
Mhm.
entire movie, the second unaliver
Mhm.
being revealed was very unexpected, and it was a nice twist, especially like, what if it is the dad? What if it is Mr. Prescott? What if he is
Mhm.
doing it?
Mhm.
And then, now we get all these conspiracies about Gale and stuff like that. So I think you have to put Scream at perfection because it's the kickoff of so much greater.
Well, not just that though. Not just that. It was the return of slashers because slashers had kind of like fallen off,
Mhm.
and Scream resurrected that subgenre of horror in such a fierce way.
For me, the resurrection of slashers is technically Terrifier, I think.
This, I think,
Well,
This is 1996, man. We're talking about
no, I know.
The best way that I can put it, as well, saying perfection, like it's in my idea the perfected modern slasher for, I guess, the 21st century, or would it have been the 21st century is what it would, it was just that, it was the thing to have come out for that time period.
It's the most realistic out of them all, too, if you really think about it, right? Because that stuff, it's actually inspired by true events. The Gainesville Ripper, if I got that right. But it is inspired by actual events. It's unfortunately inspired some lunatics out there to kind of do the same thing that happened in this movie. So it is the most realistic thing that can occur, right? If we look at slasher movies at the end of the day and we're like, hey, is Freddy really going to come and get me? All right, no. Is Jason really going to happen? No. But this could happen. and it has happened in real life. So this is probably the scariest thing, and I think we kind of all agree, right? Is this perfection for everybody? Because we don't have to go through every single person
Yeah,
here if that's what we're going to be at.
yeah, it's perfection. Yeah,
Yeah. All
hands
right.
down.
All right. So, yep. What I like about this movie is like what Noah said. That who done it going into the end was fantastic. It's not the first slasher film with two unalivers in it. There was
Mhm.
one that came out in the early '80s. It's a Christmas horror film. I think it's Silent Night, Bloody Night, or something like that,
Mhm.
where there are two unalivers in that as well. So that Scream is not the original one to do it, but it is the one that perfected it and made it the best. So
Mhm.
definitely up there.
Well, also, whatchamacallit, what was it? Prom Night, the one with Jamie Lee Curtis. I think the first one had two, right?
No,
And then, no, it started out two.
no,
One got killed up. I mean, one got taken out, and
it
then
was
the other one took over.
yeah, but they weren't working together.
Oh yeah, that's
There
true.
were
That's true.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
the red herring in Prom
yeah,
Night
yeah,
was
yeah,
that
that's
you
true.
had that slasher in there. Yep, but
What
good
about
call out.
what about it was well, they weren't working together in that too. I was gonna say My Bloody Valentine, but yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So we're going to get into probably some controversial ones, starting with this next one here. So let's take a look here real quick.
Well, what's Danny's for this?
Danny's the one that started us off, so he has us at perfection, and then we all kind of agree with that one. So let's take a look. We're gonna go into Scream 2, and we got King Matthew III saying Scream 2 is the best sequel out of the Scream movies. So
I agree
that
because that's my personal favorite out of the entire franchise.
get the
So,
hell out of here.
well,
Here's
you
the
know
first
why.
thing. I know why you're biased. I don't know why
I'm
King
biased
Matthew
for it.
III is saying that. So, Marcus, for those that have not been on here before and heard the story, can you tell us why you have that bias? That may discount your vote. I don't. You may not get a vote for this.
So part two is my personal favorite because most of the movie, all the majority of college scenes were filmed at an all-girl college where I grew up in Decatur, Georgia, Agnes Scott College. When I was in high school playing football, we used to sneak on campus to go talk to girls. So one weekend we snuck on the campus, they were filming, and I got to meet majority of the cast that day. My biggest regret was I didn't get to meet Wes Craven. But I did get to meet Nev, Jamie, Timothy Oliphant. I met all of them. Sarah Michelle Gellar that day. I met all of them. So that was my first bug and first experience of ever being on a film set in my life. And ever since then, I wanted to be a filmmaker. So, and then when I met Nev and Jamie all those years later, they didn't remember my face, but they remembered my Letterman jacket because our colors were ugly. And Jamie brought it up.
Yeah.
Jamie brought it up. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was surreal for me when I met him, years later. So
All
yeah.
right.
Oh,
All right. So we got Destination Station joining us. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining us.
what's the numbers for the horror community? Because I know some
Uh,
people have the 311, the 4, whatever. I think we
everybody. Go ahead.
should claim the 711.
Claim this.
What are
7.
you
What
talking
the
about?
hell are you talking about?
I don't know.
You took a
711.
shot. I was gonna say you took a shot before we started. What the hell is going on?
We're still
Oh,
still
okay.
posting off this
All
little
right.
one. This is
All right.
vodka. What do
I'm
you?
not gonna deal with Lucas.
I'm not
this entire
drinking
bit, this
this.
entire screen. It's not even gonna be for the. It's not even gonna be for people's choices. It's just gonna be because of Lucas.
All right. All right. So we're gonna move on to Scream number 2. So let me see where Danny has it at. Scream number 2, he has at surprisingly decent. So no,
What?
you went first. You went first last time. Lucas, what do you got?
I went first. We all had the same answer.
I'm putting it at must watch. I have to. I have
Thank
to.
you,
All right.
Lucas.
It is supremely important to Scream, as well as just one. I think it also has one of the more brutal scenes out of the franchise with the posting that guy up on the thing. Or I'm thinking that's Scream 2, right? Because
Yeah,
that's the one
at
with
the end of the movie. Yep.
Jimmy's mom.
Yep.
Yep. You
Yeah.
got it.
So yeah, no, I just remember that scene and I was like, oh my god, ugh, ugh. Like that's horrifying. Like I would hate to go out like that. That would suck.
Hey, did you watch any of the other Scream movies? Did you see how Olivia died in the franchise?
I've seen how a lot of people have died, but I like that's like the one that has always like stuck with me.
All right. Okay.
It
got
just seems so
shot.
much more like a ritual than anything. Like I think that was like the
Yeah, but that wasn't from the Ghostface people. That was from a hazing by college students.
Yeah.
That wasn't because of Ghostface.
Oh, I
He
see.
got
I
shot by
misinterpreted that. I
Ghostface.
thought
No.
that was Nancy Loom. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No more vodka for Lucas. No more vodka for Lucas.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna agree to that.
Relax.
All right, Marcus. So it
I've
seems
only
like
had like one drink.
I've had 2 sips.
Marcus, you
It's
going
a
here?
yeah, it's a must watch for me. For me personally, Mickey is one of my favorite Ghostface in the entire franchise. I wasn't too fond of Mrs. Loomis. I mean, it made sense when they changed the script, but she was just boring to me. But Mickey was awesome because he was just batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And then they had 3 of the best unalive moments in the entire franchise, like Maureen Evans in the movie theater, Phil Stevens in the bathroom, a knife to the ear, man. Come on, dude, that's brutal. And then the 2 cops that were protecting Sid and her roommate. So those were 3
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, those were
I
3
remember
3
that
awesome
being.
scenes.
I
Man.
like watching YouTube, like watching like the top 5 most brutal scenes in horror movies, and like for some reason that would pop up. Like, granted, it's not very high up on the list, but it was still brutal.
Yeah, it was because he slit the first dude, and then the other dude was on the hood, and the thing went right through his eye, like through the back of his head, through his eye. Man, it was brutal.
Yeah. So same shameless self plug. So Lee Waddell was on our channel and he talked about that scene and doing the stunt work in the cart. Yeah. So go check out that interview. It's one of our first interviews on the channel with our Scream friends that are out there. I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you all. Now, what I am trying to figure out is if it's surprisingly decent or an acceptable time waster. So,
wow.
My God, it's so hard. I'm going to go with surprisingly decent because outside of Nev coming back and Randy, I really, and I don't get it. Like, maybe you guys can tell us in the comments. I really don't get it. I hate Nancy Loomis. I hate the character. I never liked the
Yeah, I didn't
character.
care for her. Yeah, I didn't
Every
care for her.
time, yep, every time we do rankings on Ghostface with our communities, she gets up there. Like, why? I just don't get it. I don't
I
like
think it
Nancy.
was her. I
People
think it
like
was
moms
the
for
motive.
some
I think it was the motive
The eyes
behind it more so than the actual character. You know what I mean?
The
So
motive is stupid though. She walked out on her son because her dad was
Exactly.
sick
yeah,
and made
Yeah.
no and was no but like she was no contact with her son. Like you can't pretend like she actually gave a shit if she went no contact with her child. And then she's like, "Oh, well, you killed my son. He was a fucking murder. He was a serial eater. This guy, like, and you, oh well, a mother's love. No, you were that stupid. Surprisingly decent.
well, that goes to show though, like where that loose screws of Billy came from, because obviously everything that you're saying is 100% correct, but it
Billy
plays
had
to the fact.
some justification in his motive, though.
But I mean, in a sense, though, in her world, she has justification too. She was
in her
delusional
world,
about her
on the
relationship.
screen, it made no sense, though. I think that
Oh, it made perfect sense though.
if you
think
take
about
Scream out of the franchise's story, it doesn't affect the overall Maureen or the Maureen Prescott Riley Reynolds story. So surprisingly decent is where it should stay.
But it
So
had nothing to do with Rena. It was about Sid. Total revenge on Sid this go around.
Yeah.
So
me,
That's fine. I didn't like it.
I hate Derek. I hate Nancy Loomis.
Yeah, I hate Derek. I hate Derek.
So they're right there. Those two automatically pull it down.
Mickey is in fact a great character. Didn't get that much screen time for a very important role.
But when he was on screen, though, he ate.
Yeah,
he ate
and he should have been on screen more. I think that would have made more sense if he had been on screen more. Yep. Cotton Weary also should have been on screen more. Yeah, I think that making him look like a suspect more would have made more sense.
So do you know what originally was supposed to happen? The original idea?
Originally supposed to happen because what's on the screen was not
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just asking. Do you know what originally was supposed to happen with Cotton? So like after Yeah, like after
If you
Sid
guys,
and them took the two Ghostface out,
Mhm.
Sid and Cotton go at it. So
Yep.
remember that moment where Mrs. Loomis tried to convince him, like, hey, she sent you to jail for a year. It finally like clicked in his head, like, yo, maybe she's right about that. And so they actually go at it to the death. Um, and Sid ends up taking him out. And then in that script too, Derek and her roommate were the Ghostface, not Mickey and Mrs. Loomis.
Well, no. Mrs. Loomis still was. So that
No, not
script,
in the original script.
yeah,
I'm
man,
talking about I'm talking
I
about
have,
the very first draft. The
I
draft you're
have
talking
that
about
draft.
is the second one.
We have Mrs. Loomis, we have Derek, we have Hallie, and we have at the end Cotton. It was a four killer climax.
Yeah, that one that you have, I think, was the second draft of the original script.
Oh,
The
all
very
right.
first one, yeah, the very first one that Williamson wrote was just Hallie and Derek, and then he brought
Um.
in Mr. Loomis. Yeah.
Hey, so we have a super chat. Uh,
Oh, nice. Thanks.
thank you very much.
Is that say? Does
And
that say 25?
that says
Yep.
$25. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Yes, we appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. So let's remember,
Second.
Nancy was the one who started it all. In truth, walking away. What would Roman do if she didn't? This is really good. So if Nancy doesn't leave, who does Roman go to? That's an amazing
That's a
question and
good. I
thought.
never thought
Good
about that.
perspective.
Yeah, I
Yep,
never thought about that. I never
yep,
thought about that. Yeah, that's a good one. So
yeah. That's
yeah,
a
you could say she's a catalyst
yep.
for Roman at least. For
Hmm.
Roman at least. Yeah.
Wouldn't Lucas? You're muted.
Which would technically put this in a must watch for canon reasons.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Lucas.
Ah.
Well,
Ah.
but if the story is solely, if the overall arcing story is about Sydney dealing with the people coming after her because of Maureen Prescott and Riley Reynolds' past, Roman would have probably just put on the mantle himself.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's interesting. I wish we would have known that last week when we were talking about our prequel and how that could have possibly
Yeah,
evolved and
I
changed the
never even
entire
thought about
story.
that.
Mhm.
I guess because we all hate her character overall. Period. We just was like, yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's an excellent question. So, but unfortunately for you, Marcus and Lucas, the names that rhyme at the end, it's going down to surprisingly decent. So from Danny and Noah and myself, that's where it is. We got the tiebreak. It sticks right down there. So let's
Boo,
go
boo,
ahead.
boo.
Let's go ahead and start with Scream 3, the bastard child of the franchise right now. So Marcus,
with
you take this
Groman,
away. Yeah, with Roman.
So my argument for this one
Oh
is
my God,
Roman is
Marcus,
one of my favorite Ghostface,
Christ.
but the movie itself as a whole, just the way it played out and the tame, unalive moments in the movie, I'll say surprisingly decent.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
little high for me right now too.
counterpoint. This movie sucked.
I enjoy it. It's still fun because I love Parker Posey and some of the other characters.
All right,
It's
so
not worth
It's the weakest. It's the weakest.
so
This is
Danny right now has this as filler, so we're at acceptable time waster for this one.
Hmm.
And I am going to agree with Danny. Danny and my rankings match 100%. So I'm going with filler as well. So we're going to drop it down another notch and see what everybody else can do to bring it up. Because right now, with part 4, part 5, and part 6, they've had the opportunity to make this the most important film in the franchise
Yeah,
next to number 1, and they've dropped the ball ever since then. So it's like the own franchise doesn't give a rat's ass about it. Now, we all know out there that, hey, originally Stumacher was supposed to be back for this one, and then Columbine happened, and then they changed everything because of that. But yeah,
yeah.
it's a
What's
bad
Kevin
movie.
Williamson stepped away? Yeah,
Yep. The only and it's an annoying topic because it's true to life. The only thing that would make it raise up, and I wouldn't raise it up just because of the topic, is because the topics that they covered in this film is so close to Harvey Weinstein. It's like spitting in the face of Hollywood and say, "Hey, look, we're shining a mirror up to what's really going on," and all those bigwigs didn't even catch that.
you know what? You might be right. I might have to change my ranking, drop it down one for me too.
You
Now
going
that I
down the
think
filler
about
too?
it, yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna go down the filler now. I just
All right.
love Roman so much and everything
Mhm.
about his character in the movie. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
I
Everything else,
agree with you. Like the pre-reveal Roman, I hated his character. Post-reveal Roman, I liked it. I thought it was really good. No, what you got?
It is a movie that had a lot of potential, but then it just went.
Mm-hmm.
poorly executed.
Yeah, it is because since Matthew Lillard Stu did not come back, they really just decided to kind of throw it out there, and that was it. Because they haven't really brought it up at all in the like coming franchises. Like in almost a way to spit in the face of 3, they brought in another relative in 4 to be like, yeah, whatever. It Yeah, I don't know. I think I put it at filler, maybe like acceptable. I'll put it at an acceptable time waster. I'll be nice because I can see the potential, but for what it is, I won't say no to watching it because like any Scream movie, I'm okay. I'm kind of okay. It's just like that franchise where like I'm okay with watching it. So I'll put it at acceptable time waster.
Yeah, it's not like it's something from the Halloween franchise where it's like, oh my
I don't
god,
even.
just
I
just
could
stab
skip.
myself in the eyes.
Can we,
Yeah.
for the love of fucking God, can we stop talking about the Halloween franchise? I am so sick of the Halloween franchise.
So,
go ahead, Lucas.
Counterpoint to everything that you guys just said. This movie sucks. This movie is bad. This is a bad Scream movie, and you should feel ashamed of yourselves for trying to defend it.
I don't think there's a single bad movie. It's just some better than others.
No. This is as close
looking at the
as you
deeper
can
meaning of this
get to
movie.
bad without calling it bad, and I'm calling it bad because it's bad, and I just don't like it. It from the story, to the fucking casting, to the even just the actual like acting and dialogue part of the movie. Like it's just
Carrie Fisher was in it.
Yeah,
it's true.
Princess Leia, baby.
It's true.
Leia, man.
She has not been in a lot of things other
And
than
she
Star
shit
Wars.
on, she shit on Gail Weathers, if I remember correctly. So that was funny too.
Nah, she was in
I
that
might
one
have to
movie.
bump up my score a little bit.
She was in Sorority Row remake.
Yep.
She's the demo.
So it was bad. So I guess you're saying it's unwatchable garbage.
Nah. Well, is that the only thing below filler?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have it. All
Fuck
right.
it.
All right.
I don't like this movie. It's just about as hard to watch as Halloween 3. And Halloween 3 is also really bad.
Wow.
Nope, that's blasphemous.
Wow.
All right, change subject. Change subject.
I like it.
That's
But
blasphemous.
Did you watch
that's
it?
That's how I feel. I feel like horror
watched it?
movies just have a really rough time with trilogies. In my
All right, zip it.
Halloween 3 is.
You can't even zip it. Zip. I can't. When a problem comes along, you must zip it. Zip it good.
What are you talking about? Halloween 3 being bad and comparing it to
like 'em.
Scream? Oh my god, dude! Come on now.
Watching
Oh,
the Halloween movies and watching Scream 3 is the exact same thing as primitive.
The fact that there are like what 13 movies in that franchise, and
yeah, and this one Scream movie felt like all of them.
Oh,
that's
wow.
crazy.
Damn.
Just kick from the
It's just
from
a bad
StreamYard at this point.
Oh my god. All right, so let's
sipping on the inferior form of McDonald's as well. Jesus Christ.
We ain't gonna talk about that. When I ate fast food, Burger King was the shit.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
right.
Kincaid should have been.
Good fries though, I will say, good fries.
Yeah,
All right,
Kincaid definitely should have been a Ghostface.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anything but Roman. Anything but that can.
No, Roman was awesome, but yeah, Kincaid should have been.
I like his character. I don't think he should have been the killer.
It makes sense for the story.
All right, so real quick out there, I just want to give a shout out to one of our subscribers that's been talking to me on Facebook about this. Jen Werner on Facebook has reached out to me, and she had suggested, like, what if Kincaid was a member of the cult back then? That would be interesting. So it kind of plays into what King Matthew III is. So, somebody, because he did look awfully guilty. throughout that
Not
entire
only
movie.
that, he had that folder with all the newspaper clippings and that
Yep.
Sydney went through that he was like highlighting stuff. And
that could have
Yeah.
been a great callback in one of the 4, 5s, or 6s, where like, oh, so this was always a big thing. Like so like those are clippings from other Ghostface instances
Oh,
that
yeah.
weren't like, and he's investigating them. Like, I think that would have been interesting. See, this movie has potential to be risen up by movies in the franchise, and there's like, nah, I'm okay.
What would be
Yeah,
cool?
you could do that. No, we don't want it. Nah, it's okay. It wasn't a good movie. It's like, yeah, but you could. No. We can't do it.
so,
Sorry.
hey, can I answer King Matthew's question? So he asked, he said he's curious how Roman found Cotton's address in 3. You're forgetting Cotton was cameo as himself in Stab 3. Roman was the director. So when you're in the film industry and you put together a production docket, everybody's personal information is listed in there: emails, phone numbers, address, so you can have all that information for contracts and stuff. So that's the only plausible reason that Roman had his personal information and address.
Yep.
Not saying
Now,
it couldn't be Stu. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we're gonna go to that. We have a question about that too. We'll go to that in a second, but I want to come back to this here. So now, what if we go almost the Clove Hitch killer route with this one, where in 7 we find out that in Daddy's little Mark Kincaid shed in the backyard, he has those same newspaper clippings from all across the franchise of all the different Ghostface murders that are happening, and that's how we kind of find out that he is in the cult. That'd be a nice little twist there.
Not only that, like the fact that he was like how he always got called for crimes that were on the studio set. So his involvement in Hollywood, period, just being obsessed with movies and everything, like he would have been the perfect. Yeah, he would have been the perfect Ghostface.
All right, so I want 100% to. Do you believe that the killer that attacked Sydney at the movie studio in Scream 3 is definitely Stu? Because there's no way that was Roman working by himself. I reckon you
No,
was
it was
Stu.
Roman. Yeah, it was
No, it
Roman.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It
There's
was
two.
Roman.
There's a scene in the film where Sydney is being chased by a ghost face, and when she goes into the one house on the set, another ghost face pops out of the closet from inside.
Right,
So,
because it's open. If you know how, like, if you go on a set, when they build sets like that, everything is open, so it's easy accessible to get up and down and all around those sets. So yeah, that was Roman all the way because
that's number 1. Number 2 is when she goes into her bedroom set and she closes the door like she did in Scream 1. There's a ghost face out that door, but when she jumps out the window, there's another ghost face there too. So there is multiple times that there is 2 ghost faces that are moving around, and the reason for that is because of continuity mistakes, because it was originally supposed to be 2 Ghostface unalivers in this film, and the other one was supposed to be Angelina. That didn't work out because they changed it. The
that was
studios,
poor crack.
yeah, the studios
edit.
did not want to repeat what they did in the previous 2 films, so they put their noses in it and they changed the ending after the film was mostly shot. So now that's why we always see the 2 killers in there, and then why it seems plausible for that.
But you also see too, if you look, so where the door is, when you go up, even though they were mocking the house, when you go up and the stairs like curve around to a room, that wall right there, there's a window that led to the roof part where he came and attacked her through the window, too. So when he was like hitting the door against her door, originally, like you said, it was supposed to be Angelina too at the door and him at the window.
Yep.
But the way they plausibly explained it was that he went out the window and came around to that window right there at her room, and then pulled her through.
All right, so we got another super chat in there.
Woo!
Yeah. Thank you very much again.
This is the second time he's done this. You don't have to keep sending us money to comment. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But it is greatly appreciated.
No, it's greatly appreciated.
It is greatly appreciated. It is greatly appreciated. And if that is your cat, that is a cute fucking cat. That cat gets 12 out of 10
stars.
He said
Roman's whiny, non-existent got bilocation.
He has.
I'm dumb. I don't know what that means.
Superhero.
Yes.
So he basically pulls a Jason Manhattan where he just
Oh, he just disappears and like reappears wherever he wants.
Ah, yeah.
He's in contact with the mist from Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. Now, little did you know, there's underground tunnels that were in that Scream set, right? That we're gonna learn out in a future movie.
You
Now,
didn't know this, but he had a teleportation belt on.
he was the Invisible Man. He had
No,
the suit
he
before anybody else.
He had
did.
his hither thither staff.
Yeah.
If you
Now-
guys watch Dungeons and Dragons.
He
Oh,
double jumps.
yeah.
He just double
Yeah.
jumps.
Yeah. So I will say this. So I think so. Next week we're gonna do top unalive moments, and probably in 2 weeks I think we gotta rank the Ghostface. So definitely
yeah,
come back to
definitely.
that. I gotta hear some more Roman comments for that one.
That might be
All
another. That might be another drinking.
Let's
podcast,
keep
then.
making fun of him. I want him to keep making fun of him.
All
How
right.
many
So
total Ghostface wearers are there in the movies?
13 if you include Jason.
yeah,
That's a big
Jason.
list.
I include the other kid too. His friend Todd, Greg. Yeah.
Yeah. So 14 then if you include
Yep.
Greg too.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
14 total.
Yeah, we're gonna argue about that one because I have Jill pretty high on my list, and I know a lot of people don't, and I don't get it. So
See, now how are we going to structure that tier list? Is my question, because I don't. Because
I would say
these
do
are all
number
movies.
ranking for that one.
yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. All right, so we're on to number 4. So Danny's gonna start us off at number 4, and he has number 4 at a must watch. So Marcus, you started us off at the last one. No, go ahead.
See, this is tough, right? Because it's a good movie. This is the one that this is out of all the films in the franchise. This is probably the one that I should have rewatched because I haven't seen it in a while. But I went to go rewatch 6, but then noticed that there's 2 Scream 5s available, but no Scream 6 in the Blu-ray section. You might want to check.
I bought Scream 6 in our videos. It's Scream 6 is in our video store.
Go check. It's not.
All
Anyway, so Scream 4, it did kind of open up the window for the cults. Like it was like it's there now.
Mhm. Wow.
And
What? Such a good defense. The cult is there,
yeah, so you're right.
but
The cult is there. Jill is there. The second unaliver, the second Ghostface, it was
Charlie.
it's very cliche for the time, right? Like having that relationship is like, oh well, I'm just doing it because I'm
He was a
weirdly
simp.
in love with this girl and
Yeah,
she's
he was a
manipulating
simp.
me. It's just very like I don't need like that's weird to have in there. Like those motives, leave that for the stupid romance stuff. I don't want that. I don't want that in the film. You
Yeah,
know,
he was a simp, just like Randy was a simp for
Yeah.
shit. He was a
S
simp.
to the I to
Well,
the
but
M to the P.
Randy wasn't going around stabbing people for it, and Randy was also funny. Like
Mm.
the other, like the I don't even remember his name.
Charlie.
Charlie, you know, not great. But
Wait. Who played Charlie again?
Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Yep.
Which one?
I don't know.
Rowan.
The one that was in Scott Pilgrim.
Emma Roberts.
No, not that
Wait,
one.
no.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, wrong one.
And I would love for her character return as well, because I think getting shocked with a defibrillator is probably not something that takes you out.
No,
I would put it.
No, she got shot. Center mass.
When she gets shot, because she got back
Right
up and
after
then
she
she
got
got
up.
shocked with the defibrillator, or she gets shot afterwards.
She
And I'm
got
not
shot.
remembering that.
She got the defibrillator, and then she popped up. You know how Ghostface always pops up the second time. Then Sid shot her center mass in the chest.
Why am I forgetting that?
So where do you have this, Noah?
I'll put it at surprisingly decent.
Okay, so we're
Because
right
I really liked what it set up, but Scream it did it did the same thing that Scream 3 did, just cinematically better and a better story. And then just got kind of like left in the dust with some of the things that it was leaving open, like the cults, which they still haven't even like confirmed is a thing yet.
Well, yep. We'll talk about that when we get to it. Well, no, you know what? Never mind. We'll go into it now. So I think the cult has been around since part 2, right? Because we had Nancy and Mickey talking about finding
On the message
serial
board.
unalivers on the web, on the message board. So the message board has existed since then. And as we learned in Scream 5, there is that Woodsboro truther, and floating on Reddit somewhere, and I found it, and I'm kicking myself in the ass for it now. years later, there is a hidden Scream Reddit chat log that's out there that is of inspiring Ghostface artists. And I went through it for one day for like an hour or two, and I was finding all these cool things that were in there. And it's like, man, I got to remember to come back to this, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me where it was doing that. So, yeah. Yeah, but I think the Colt's been around since 2. I think 4 had a real good advantage of taking it to the next level. I'm of the belief that there is 3 Ghostface in this film because there are things that do not add up in this film. And I'm not talking about height because I know we'll probably end up talking about height when we get to Scream 5.
I couldn't
But
imagine why.
I'm talking about the stabathon. So stabathon, we have Charlie in one location, and then we have Jill and Kirby going to her house. Meanwhile, we have a Ghostface attacking Sydney and Jill's mom and the police officers outside that house. So we have 2 Ghostface in different locations going in other directions. And the other big clue in that film is when um, Sydney's publicist or her agent gets tossed off of the hospital. One, you got to be strong to do that.
That
And
was
we know
Charlie,
where.
though.
No, so Charlie is still on the ground,
Oh
my
yeah,
friend.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yep.
You're right. You're right.
Charlie
You're right.
Charlie is
Yeah,
on the ground during that because
yeah.
he
I
ran
forgot
into
about that.
he ran
Yeah.
into Gail outside. You know, he had his geek out moment with
hmm
Gail. And then
hmm
before that person comes tumbling down from the building, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, he's still there. And if you
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what I'm
You're right.
talking about, yep, if
Because
anybody watching this,
he's with what's his name, the other dude.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, he's with the other
This
kid.
so this might be like a ballpark, like just like out there like thing to like throw out there, but like for the sake of like like story and like it might be interesting. Like the cult probably didn't always like I don't think Gail was always like maybe a part of it, but like they always accepted her as being like the reason that this is the happening, and they accepted her as
Yeah,
the cult
Robbie.
leader. And then I think Scream 4 rolls around, Sydney gets getting the press.
Mhm.
What if she's the third one? What
Could
if
be.
that's when it starts for Gail?
Well,
Could
that
be.
was my pitch. That was my pitch for Gail to be the
Mhm.
Ghostface eventually, because I told you, Dave, all the time. I was like, man, it would be perfect because Sydney was technically the bane of her existence. Like with, her career didn't go as planned,
Yeah.
because of following the story. Dewey ended up kind of falling in love with
It's such a
Sid in part
simple
4.
construct laid
So,
out
yeah.
for an amazing story that's been built up for decades now, and they just
Yeah.
haven't capitalized on it. It's been what? So the movie came out in what, 97? So we're approaching
96.
96. So next year will be another decade that we're not like capitalizing on this on a
Oh my
potentially
God.
amazing story.
Yeah, so
What?
we're getting a half-assed Scream 7 on the 30th anniversary.
30th anniversary. That's sad.
Oh my God. All right, Lucas, where's Scream 4
Oh
for you?
no, I just ruined the rest of the stream.
I don't know. I like Scream 4.
It's great. Yeah,
I
like
wouldn't
it
put
just
it anywhere above surprisingly decent though.
So you're leaving it in surprisingly decent?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got really cool like ideas, and I like that it was another like member of Sydney's family, because it just like it goes to show that like fame does drive people fucking nuts. But I also really liked Emma Roberts' performance in this movie.
Yes.
I thought she was fantastic as a serial eater. I mean, even if I guess technically, yeah, she still counts as one, but it's like, I think they also had some very, while not like super innovative unaliving scenes, they just had some really creative ones that I saw that I remember.
All right. I
It reminded me, I'm not gonna lie, it felt like I was watching the Scream TV show when I was watching this movie, but that's like the only comparison that I have.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
I actually like the show more than 4.
Same.
Oh my God,
I digress.
dude.
I digress.
You know what?
I digress.
You know what's interesting about like Gail being in this as well? Is like Gail is really good at manipulating people, and we know that it's a great match.
It is cool.
Gail is really good at manipulating people because she works in the TV industry and all that. So it's like, could you imagine that like Charlie and Jill didn't really even take anyone out throughout the entire movie? It was all Gail. It's like, oh, I'll do it, but you'll get all the credit. You'll be famous. you'll be the Ghostface of these attacks. And then Jill goes off the rails, takes out Charlie, wants the spotlight, and that gives Gale an out, takes out Jill because Sydney lives, and then we get another opportunity to take her out for another film. I think that's something that's interesting as well, because there's two big events that take place where both supposed Ghostface are accounted for as not being Ghostface in that time. So it's safe to say that maybe they didn't do anything. Maybe they didn't take anybody out.
Yeah,
Maybe it
I
was all
always
Gale.
said I always said that if there was an additional Ghostface, Judy would have been the perfect
Yep.
Ghostface. One, because
Yep.
she had history with Sid.
Mhm.
Sid kind of dismissed her when they, reunited. They went to high school together. They were in theater class together and all that stuff. And then she had a thing for Dewey, but Gail was always in the way, so they were always going back and forth. So it would have been cool to have Judy as a Ghostface doing her own thing, and then having Gail being the main Ghostface, but having no parts of what Judy was doing, and then they go at it at some point.
Yep.
I would have liked that, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Marcus, where you got Scream 4?
So I'm putting my filmmaker brain on, man. I got it as just acceptable time waster. Like
Oh,
Lucas said.
what the
No, hold
hell?
on. Hear me out. Hear me out. Story wise and stuff, I enjoyed it. I love Jill. I love some of the unalive moments in the movie, like with the knife to the forehead of the cop and Olivia's moment earlier in the movie. My main issue with me watching Scream 4, and it's every time I watch it, I get a headache watching the movie because of that stupid ass cloudy filter that they put on the movie itself. Like if you watch the movie, it looks smoky and cloudy. It doesn't look cinematically like any of the other films. I don't know who decided to make that decision in post, but it just ruins it for me. It looks like an old.
I'm gonna have to
If
rewatch.
you go back and look,
Yeah, I
if you go
remember
back
that.
and look,
I'll have
if
to
you
check
go
that
back and
out.
look at like old early 80s movies, how it had, especially TV movies in the 80s, how it had that
I just think that their
cloudiness
cameras
to
were
it.
shit back then.
Oh, I
Yeah,
hear what you mean. I
it
hear what you mean.
just it ruined it for me, man. I get a headache every time I watch Scream 4.
Guys are killing me. You guys are fucking killing me because
What did you put it at?
this is my third favorite film in the franchise, and it's
Ah.
just
This is my.
it's just missing number 2 because I loved one of my number 2s when
It's
we're
like
going to talk about that.
it's like Simon Pegg from Shaun of the Dead. That's the second album I've ever bought.
Oh my god. Jill is probably one of the greatest Ghostface because her motive is just so sinister. It's so diabolical. It is so cold. And it is so up to date with the modern times. When she gives that speech about doing it for the likes and everything, it's like, yep, I can see society going that route. And guess what? It has gone that way, right? Before the YouTube exploded and everything else, we have actual YouTubers out there and TikTokers
People
that
don't
have
like being
done
called
these
out.
things.
You know what you sound like, Dave? You know what you
What?
sound like? I'm about to give you the perfect example. And hear my argument out. And Lucas could probably attest to this because
Marcus with
he's a
Scream 2.
huge comic book fan. You sound like people saying The Dark Knight is the greatest comic book movie of all time just because of judging off of Heath Ledger's performance rather than the entire movie as a whole. So you're saying it's one of the best all because of Jill, but what about as a movie as a whole? That's what I'm
Okay,
going off
you
of.
got
Yeah.
it. So, movie as a whole, we have some of the best unaliving moments in there. You called it out. The Anthony
Olivia.
Anderson's knife to the
Yeah.
head. We
Yeah.
have the
I
Sabbath
really
son.
like that scene.
Yep. We have Olivia's murder. We have Kirby. My God, Kirby just elevates her on her own. But we see, like you've called out, we see the breakdown between Sydney and Gail's relationship and all the things that were kind of built up in the first two films, the jealousy and stuff like that, that gets played out and it never gets cashed in any of the other films because the next time we see the two of them, they're buddy buddy. So there were so many good things in this that was pulled off that and and guess what? It's ahead of its time. It's a requel before a requel became a thing because it
Yeah.
introduced new characters, legacy characters, and it could have gone on if it didn't make if it made better money.
I just felt like what Noah said about 3, that 4 has so much potential that they dropped the ball in a lot of what you just mentioned.
Mhm.
That they could have capitalized on and made it phenomenal, but they didn't. So
4 is a repeat of 3, but just with a better story.
Yeah, I'll say I'm biased because
See, I
Kirby's
don't
in it.
know. I think four felt so much more like a repeat of the kind of the first one for me, but in a very in a way that it felt like manufactured in a crazy person's head. Like, oh, I'm gonna become the final
You-
girl at the end of this.
Lucas, we're not talking about Scream 5
Would've been
because
his-
that's the one that follows almost beat to beat with Scream. I'm just
It
kidding.
King
That's
Matthew
fair.
the Third. I think that would have made his disgruntled character arc in 5 make more sense than him just being all upsetty spaghetti about going to New York and not being able to cut it there, which also doesn't make sense for the character at all. But yeah, I think that if she's not a part of the cult in any way, she should just not be a part of the story. We got a pulse. Should we have one though?
Her
yeah,
story
Gail
arc is
wearing
done.
Gail wearing the Ghostface mask. King Matthew was just her trying to blend in to the party that time
Yeah.
because everybody was dressed up.
All right, so the question is, I think Gail should have died in 4 to make Dewey a
Yeah, that's
more
what I was
determined
talking
Yeah.
to him about.
Yeah.
That was the whole
Yeah,
thing I was
Yeah.
saying.
I think she should have. Yeah, I think she should have gone too.
Yeah,
If they were
not,
going to make her Ghostface. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know about, well, maybe, yeah, because you know what, honestly, if I'll agree with this now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more. If she is gone in the 4th one, seeing that Dewey would have been the same character in 5 with her
hmm
dying in 4 or their relationship breaking up, so it would have worked either way.
hmm
And because
Yeah.
her arc is over, her character arc's over. You don't need her character arc anymore. You don't need her character arc. There's nothing more to do with this character.
Unless she is a part of the cult, which they never capitalized on. So
Yep.
now she's just a cash grab.
hmm
All right, let me see here. I'm trying to scan for some comments here real quick. Okay. All right, we can go ahead. We can move on then. So let's see. We'll hide.
Where are we placing 4 at then officially?
Surprisingly
4,
decent. It looks like.
yeah, it finishes at surprisingly decent because I have it as a must watch. Danny has it as a must watch. We have an acceptable time waster, and we have 2 surprisingly decents on there. So that's where it
Mhm.
falls. Surprisingly decent. So that brings us to Scream 2022, Scream 5. Danny has it as a must watch. So who went first last time? I've been talking so much. I have
Lucas
no idea.
hasn't gone first yet.
All right,
Yeah.
Lucas, go ahead. You kick us off.
I liked Scream 5. I was like one of the only one of us that was like late to the party on Scream 5, but when I did watch it, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it. Jack Quaid.
Crushed
Quaid.
it. I just watched
We
it
love Jack
again
Quaid.
last night.
We got Jack Quaid love
Crushed
up in this channel all the
Love
time. He's coming out. He's coming out with another movie too, where it's like a romance horror movie where like they're both psychotic and they're in love with
Looks
each
good.
other.
Yeah, looks
Yeah,
good.
we love Jack Quaid up in this bitch.
Yeah, but yeah, I really think that the new main characters, like the core 4 or whatever, they were really fun.
Mhm.
I'm not a super big fan of groups naming themselves when there's like no point, but it was fun, it was cute, it was when they did have times together, it was
It's trauma
believable
bonding,
that they
Lucas.
could
It
be
has a
friends.
purpose. It's trauma bonding. They had a purpose.
I hate you.
It's exactly what it was. Because it's bringing them all together. It's like, guys,
I know.
nothing can happen, we gotta look
Like
out for
I
each other
said,
'cause
it
we're
was
the core
cute.
4.
It was fun. The unaliving scenes were. I liked them. I
like
also
them a
really
lot.
liked the motivation behind Jack Quaid's character. I like that it was like, oh, now it's my turn to basically like make a movie or like make a movie out of it or like be the new or whatever was going through his skull. Yeah, I liked it. I think that it also falls at must watch. I think it's one of the better modern Scream movies. The only thing I have to say to that is that I in a weird way I do think that Scream 4 is slightly better than this movie.
What?
How did you put
What
it
the hell?
higher?
I know.
What?
I know.
Okay, you lost me there, brother.
You see what I'm talking about, chat?
See what I'm talking about, chat? He says, "Nah, that's just how it falls for me. I like Scream 4 for a lot of what Scream 4 did better than Scream 5, but I think Scream 5 is one of the
I need to leave.
movies up on the top.
You know,
I
you
know
need
it's
to
not.
leave.
I know it's not the
It's
whiskey
confusing
talking.
as
I
hell.
understand everything, but I guess I don't. I don't know. Marcus, go ahead, Marcus.
I'm confused. How can you rank something higher than something you liked more?
So I got it as a must watch, man. Like again, I watched it
All right.
last night and enjoyed every second of it. Didn't have an issue with Amber. Like everybody has an issue with that scene of her and Dewey in the hospital, but people got to realize, like, if you look, they finally got it right. If you go back and watch that scene over again, even though the stuntman was the same height as David Arquette at 5'10", you got to remember when she first hits him, he kneels down, and then they show that one shot where she takes both of them out and she has her arms up. She looks short, and I think that was the actress in that one shot where it was her.
I just rewatched the movie last night. When he got stabbed the first time, he was arched back, but
he was
not enough.
Yeah, he was kneeling.
No. He got stabbed in the back, and then he started losing his footing. When he got
I'll
stabbed
show
in the
I'll show
stomach,
you an
he was
image because
still
I paused it.
standing steady foot, but he was arched back because he got stabbed. But they were standing height. They were standing they were standing level, and then he got stabbed in the back, and then he lost his footing. But in the initial stab, he was on both feet. So
Yeah,
I call
but
bullshit.
as soon as
and
she
that,
hit him, as soon as he hit him, that's when he started slinking, and then she hit him in the back again.
In the
and
front
then,
shot, though, he just arched back. He arched back. He was still standing tall enough to where that doesn't make sense. Because Amber's a petite motherfucker. I
I'm gonna
don't
send you a
care.
screenshot.
I don't care
I'm
what
gonna
kind
send you
of
a
trick of the
screenshot,
camera
man.
you're trying to excuse this for. There's no way that Amber made sense as being Ghostface in that opportunity. There's no way.
Yeah, everybody
Actually, it
gets.
did because she called Richie.
Yeah, but then how is Ghostface level with Jack Quaid in that scene too? Because Ghostface stabs and knocks out Jack Quaid, and they're the same height as well.
Actually, no, she came in from under. But anyway, besides all of that, though,
I just watched it last night. That didn't happen.
so did I, and I
He
took
came in from the
screenshots just
side.
for this. I did it too, and took screenshots just for this. But again, what I'm saying is, when they finally showed the final shot of her with both knives up, that was the actress in the suit, because the cloak was overly baggy on her and everything. And even the stuntman said that. That was the one shot that they cleaned up to make sure that it was her, to justify. Yeah.
Everybody gets hung up on the hospital scene, but everybody should be concentrating on the opening scene. The opening scene, we have Richie confirmed to be somewhere else. He's with Sam in the beginning of the movie, right? And we have a Ghostface that's on the phone talking to Tara. We have a Ghostface that is outside the front door, and we have a Ghostface that's inside us. So again, we have 3 Ghostface in there, because if the time that Tara's going through her phone and switching on the alarm, switches off, switches on, the Ghostface from outside is not coming in. I have an alarm system. It don't work that way, because if you go to click it off, it's going to tell you that there's something else that's open. So
you also have to keep in mind that Richie was with Sam when
I said that.
Richie was with Sam when Judy and the other and her kid were being taken out. Right?
No, Richie was with Sam during Tara's attack. They were in a whole other city.
No, yeah, I know that, but I'm talking about the attack on Judy and her son.
That's later. He's talking about this.
No, I know, but I'm talking about something different that also contributes to that. So Richie was with Sam during that event, and the person that took them out was taller than both of them. Amber's short. Amber's very short. Yep. I'm sorry, but a lot of these attacks don't make sense with Amber in them.
Yeah.
Oh, when Amber attacks Judy on the thing, remember she was on the steps and Judy was on the ground when she attacked.
Yeah, but her son wasn't. They were level.
And then when she stabbed West in the neck, again the stuntman was 5'10", but again, we're supposed to know that. You
can't justify it that way. You can't be like, "Oh, it was our bad," and then be like, "It doesn't make sense."
Well, that's like saying That's like Tom Cruise is 5'7", but he's always taller than his leading ladies in Mission Impossible movies.
But at
Come
least
on,
they
man.
get it right. At least they get it right.
Hey,
They get it right.
but
He's consistently taller. He's consistently
but
taller.
to answer your question, Dave, they did answer that as far as Amber in the
Yeah.
video on the phone. They said that was they pre-recorded
No,
that.
I get that. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there's a ghost face in the house, and
Oh
there's a
yeah,
ghost
that
face
I
on the
agree with you.
outside.
Yeah,
Yep.
that I agree with you.
And now, if we look at Scream 3, right, we have Ghostface that are in, and Scream 4, we have a Ghostface that is talking to somebody on the phone in the same room as their victim, and the victim does not hear them. And this actually, so we have it with Sarah Darling. We have it with Cotton Weary's girlfriend, Christine. We have it with Olivia. And then we have it with Tara. There's a ghost face that is feet away from you, talking to you, and you do not hear them.
Well, at least for Olivia, Charlie was whispering.
Yeah.
And we got to give him credit for that. So, yeah. No, I agree with you as far as that. But I mean, as far as that one video footage, her and Richie had pre-recorded that video.
Yeah, that was my assumption watching it as well, that was probably just pre-recorded.
Yep. All right. So we have 2 must-watch before we get to know I'm at a must-watch too. So
that's where I'm at.
Yeah. All right. So we're all at a must-watch. So we're all good with that one.
I
But,
just think my issues are not with the movie. It's with the people behind the scenes trying to explain away shit that don't make sense. Like you can just say it's like it makes no sense. It makes no sense that the height difference it pops up as glaring issues in multiple scenes for it to be like, oh, it was the mistake on our part. It's like you can't.
I mean, that's like complaining about Tom Savini's hands when Pamela Voorhees gets decapitated and you see the hairy knuckles. You know, so
look, man, we are 30 years away from that. You should know how to make a film where you get this stuff right.
I mean, like one came out in the 80s. Also, wait, now I have to go rewatch that. I don't remember seeing that. God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, people you clearly see man's hands. Yeah. That's not a woman's hands doing that, man.
I mean, the last time I watched it, I think was the first time I watched it. I'm like, oh my god, you got. Well, no, because I was pissed. I was pissed because I knew there was a decapitation scene in the first movie, but I watched it on AMC and they took it out. They took that scene out from the movie, so you don't get to see any of it. So my first time watching that scene, I was just in shock and finally getting to see someone get decapitated. So I watched the movie twice, but the first time I didn't get to see it because it was on AMC and they censored it from the movie and most of the other good like scenes with like Kevin Bacon with the arrow and stuff like that. Even though Walking Dead was on. Listen, I don't know, whatever. But like, yeah. So I never noticed the man hands thing, but I feel like that in the 80s is more acceptable when they're doing like stuff on like a budget of $200 and some corn crackers compared to like what is this, Paramount
budget
or whatever.
So my love for Scream 2022 is one, we were coming out of the pandemic. I think this is and Spider-Man No Way Home are the last 2 great films that have the nostalgia callbacks. After Scream 2022, everything else has just been cash grabs and
I like Deadpool. I will say I like Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine I feel like was less of a cash grab because Ryan Reynolds personally like really loves Deadpool and was happy to make the film. But I think that sets aside from that. I know he's like a trillionaire now.
I believe we talked about this in one of our unreleased episodes of the podcast.
Yes, we did. So let's stay on the Scream topic there.
I'm just saying.
With regard to Amber though, man, like I guess I didn't have
rebuttal your argument.
Okay. I didn't have a problem with Amber going in too because of the fact that, you know, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had just came out, like not too long before.
Watching her get struck with a
can. Was psychotic. Yeah, she was psychotic in that. So I was like actually kind of excited, like seeing her as a ghost face in this because I was like, that woman was crazy, dude. She was bad shit crazy.
Yeah, Amber was great. Sam was great in this film. So, look, here, we'll go to a comment before we go a little bit further. Biggest flaw of 2022 was sadly Amber and Richie being forced as Stu and Billy 2.0 too much. They were good as themselves, but as they posed as Stu and Billy, they lost me. But I warm up to it. My fourth.
I don't think. Maybe for me, I mean, I get what he's saying. You know, but for me personally, even after watching it again last night, I felt like they were very much their own characters and not.
This movie was very copycat on its own though, and I think that's what like where that shines is like this movie was very like a reboot, but like taking the script of the first one. So I see that. Also, thank you for not tipping this time. I really appreciate it. Like we very much appreciate you tipping, but thank you for like just regularly commenting. But he's
that toxic fandom is like real. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think that the issue is that they could have had a bigger spotlight as their own thing, but because of how close this was,
to
the
like
original,
I see the correlation. I definitely see the correlation.
It kind of bled into like what the originality was, and it was like a little disappointing in that regard. So I do see your point because they both did an amazing job on screen. I think Amber, especially doing like the thing where like she was like I thought that was like so hilarious.
Yep.
I love that because like it just shows how sadistic she was. And like I said, we love Jack Quaid here. Jack Quaid is always a delight, and he did a great job on screen. I think he did a great job on screen too.
Richie never got his hands dirty. Amber was the muscle. Amber was the muscle.
So the studios have said.
All right.
Well, biggest problem too.
That kind of shows on screen though that he was kind of like a weasel because like even when he was getting stabbed,
he was.
What about my movie? Like he was always kind of like, and when he got shot at like when he was trying to call Sydney as Ghostface, he's like wait, and then he gets shot. Like he was just like a fruity little weasel. Like he's a dope.
You know what? A lot of people don't mention
what
the age difference between Richie and Amber. Because Amber technically was supposed to only be like 16, 17 years old, and he's like mid-20s.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I think I thought of that in the first watching it in theaters, and then I completely forgot about it now. But yeah, you're exactly right. She's a high school student.
Yep.
That's gross.
Yep. All right, so this is a great point here by King Matthew III. The only thing about 5 I hate is no scene with Sydney and Dewey. Yes.
That broke my heart.
That is tragic.
That broke my heart.
That is
tragic. The whole phone call thing just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, that's a tragic loss there.
Now, I think that the bigger loss is that Dewey didn't get to take out a Ghostface in the process of being taken out. That would have been justice to his character. Taking out one of them in the middle of the movie has never been done before. So like finally getting to take one out, it's like, oh shit, it was
he didn't have a scene with Judy either. Now that I think about
it. Yeah.
No, he did. He did have a scene with Judy. It's cut.
Oh, well, that doesn't count.
No, he had one with Scott.
Not in the movie.
No. He does have one with Judy, and it could be put back in. So when he gets into the bar fight with Vince, he actually gets brought into the station. All of them do. They all get brought into the station. That scene was cut out.
Is that another scene that was cut?
Yeah. The bar fight where Vince goes after. Oh shit! Yeah. So Vince Dewey stops Vince after he starts mouthing off in the bar, and Vince punches out Dewey, and then that brings all of them into Judy's office. So those scenes
cut. Yeah, because
it was cut. You could throw those in. So if we ever get an extended cut, that'll fit in there nicely because it doesn't change the flow of the movie or anything.
It actually adds to them knowing like Dewey, like it's like well that guy who's like just
because I thought it would have been cool.
Dewey being Dewey.
It would have been cool if Wes was Dewey's son. To me, like him and Judy ended up hooking up, but yeah.
Could be right. Could be. Let's see what we got out here. I do agree with this. So at least Dewey went out with as a badass compared to Randy. Yep.
Yeah. It took two knives at once to finally take this motherfucker out. Like.
This was the first time he actually got gutted because like she took the knife up the back and then the sternum too. Yeah.
Like they were like.
But only a man.
But only a man can do. Take it back.
I love that whole scene, not because how he dies. It's the music, the walk from the elevator. It was that's the best shot in the whole.
And
movie,
of course, it was Gail's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it was. It was Gail's fault.
You know what? I used to think that Richie was the one that called, like cloning Gail's phone, and Richie called from the elevator to distract him. But then I was like, nah, that's just too cliche. So I'm glad that it was actually Gail calling him, like trying to track him down, since he left without telling her. From
All right.
Booty's house.
So if anybody has this higher than where I think it's going to be, then I'm gonna have to refill my glass and probably drink the whole damn glass.
Oh,
So
boy.
Danny has this at unwatchable garbage.
What?
Really?
Nope. I got it higher.
Oh my
Much higher.
god! All
I
right,
got it much higher, man.
hold
I'm
on
gonna
a
have to
second.
drink to Danny's decision.
Oh,
I thought
Christ.
I was relatively close to all of your
I'm getting ready.
choices, but
I'm
I'm gonna
getting
have
ready.
to. I'm gonna have to change.
Oh shit!
I'm not
All
drinking
right,
any
no.
more of that vodka, but I'll drink later for sure. I love
All right,
drinking.
you guys are just catching up there.
This is the first time that any type of alcohol has worked on me, and I think
I'll
this is
go
because I'm
last on this
successful
one.
in this podcast.
All right. So
I'm going
Noah,
last on this one.
where do you have this?
You're gonna want to take a big fucking sip. You're gonna want to
shut
take
the
a
fuck
big
up.
sip.
Shut up.
All right. I'm putting it at perfection, baby.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah, that's higher than me. but,
Perfection.
So okay. So it has nothing to do with the movie. I think so. The three killers love the idea. Taking
Mhm.
somebody out, and they're like, oh, actually, they're back. I love that concept. I think the story behind Kirby coming back, that's
Mhm.
awesome. The
Mhm.
Museum of Ghostface memorabilia, that's awesome.
Mhm. Some great
I
unalive
don't
moments in
care
this
for
movie.
the reasoning behind the story. Like, there's really more family members that are like defending his honor. I get it, but like it's kind of stupid. Like they all just seem stupid at that point. But seeing Sam finally like flip in that ending scene, she puts on specifically her father's Ghostface costume and uses specifically his goddamn knife. That is a turning point in that character.
When she
And
did the
yeah, like you cannot
was
tell me
peak.
that scene does not elevate that to at least a must watch, because that was beautiful. That was
What she did
beautifully
it
done.
to
yeah, they
Noah's
shot it
point,
better.
to
She did
Noah's
Yeah,
it
point,
especially with
this
the
was like
the circle pan around her, like just stabbing into him. Fucking love that. That was such a beautifully poetic scene, and this scene set up so much potential for Sam versus Tara or Sam versus Sydney,
Mhm.
and I wanted to see it, and I think and also the opening sequence where it's like you said, like, because we talked about this with the two people who were talking about being Ghostface, like the one guy who took out the woman in the, I can't remember her name, but she's a great actress. He took her
Samara
out,
Weaving.
and then he gets taken out by other Ghostface, but there's still a Ghostface lurking that this guy was working with.
Mhm.
So wait, he wasn't working with him because his head was in the fridge, but like it just shows so many cool things, and it's even talking about Stu potentially being alive, but even Kirby doesn't know. Like, that's why I put it at perfection. It's because like it's just giving us, it's like, give me so much of that lovegasm, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just there,
hey yo.
showing us what it wants to, and then we got Scream 7
Pause.
because of all this
Never
political
in my life have I seen a
Rewind.
movie crash and burn as hard as this movie did.
Just wait for Scream 7
Never.
to come out. Just wait for Scream 7 to come out.
So where do you put it, Dave?
Well,
That's
we'll-
crazy. That's
we
more
will
crazy
get
than
to
your
me.
response to Grown
No,
Ups 2.
I'm going last on this one.
You can
I'm
go
going
last. You
Yeah.
can go last. I have to process. I really have to process this
You have
perfection
spoken
selection.
so positively about this movie and the things that it has incorporated into the franchise. So your ranking of this, whatever
Crash
it may
and burn.
be, yeah, like it's crazy. It's crazy to me that this is where
Ah.
your head is at, knowing how positively you have spoken about concepts taken from this movie. I don't get it.
I'll talk about it in a second. I will, because I have to have another drink on this. But Lucas, go ahead. Where do you have this?
I'm not gonna lie, this is probably gonna stay at surprisingly decent for me. Only
Okay.
because this is like Scream Age of Ultron for me. In my head. Where I would want a Scream
I don't
Infinity
know.
War and Endgame.
No, I
This
know
is
where
Age
he's
of
going.
Nothing you
Ultron.
have
I know where
said
he's
tonight
This is
makes
Age of
any
Ultron.
sense, Lucas.
No, I know
It-
where he's going. I
This
know where
is
he's going
this is
first.
exactly where Age of Ultron places for me in like a Marvel ranking. Like it's
I mean,
it's
honestly,
it's just good enough for me to want to watch it again, but it's not fantastic to the point where I'm like, I would love to see this story continued because I'm gonna be honest with you, I could give less of a shit.
you know what? I have the same perspective on this as Scream Age of Ultron for like my point of view being perfection. I think that
Age of
Scream
Ultron is good. Age of
Yeah.
Ultron is good,
because
but it's
they
not.
both
It's
had
not
a
where it
lot
needs
of
to
things. Well, no, because they both had a lot of things that set up the future potential of the franchise, but they change things, or they're with Scream's case, they are changing things that are going to completely shred at continuity.
Danny
What
just
did
sent me
Danny
a
say?
text message and he said, "The fuck is Scream 6 being at
Listen,
perfection?"
if Danny can't take the time to show up and defend his decisions, I don't give a fuck where he ranks it. Tell him he needs to argue his point on the podcast before he can give an opinion. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's where I'm at. What the fuck is this?
Oh
It's
my
perfection.
god.
It's perfection.
What the fuck
For
is
what
it?
it
Is that your
offers
impression
on
of him?
screen and what it offers for the future of the franchise, it belongs at perfection.
You're holding that axe very tightly, Mark.
Ah.
It's getting a little scary over there.
Well, he
My
liked the
little
movie
hatchet.
though, so I feel like I'm safe in this.
Mhm.
It's getting ready to protect.
Jesus fucking
Go
Christ.
ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave, because I'm going last.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Because
Shoot,
I have
baby.
to finish this and I'm going to have to re-pour when Marcus starts talking. Because I know I'm not going to
Last
look at
movie.
that.
Are you gonna
I
finish a
know
movie?
right now the way he is laughing. Oh my god.
Boy, I have a feeling he's gonna have it like must watch,
right.
guaranteed.
So let me finish.
See,
As I
Lucas
said,
knows me too well.
Noah, I agree with you. The opening of the film, fantastic. Loved it. This is something that I wanted in that movie, is that we would get the reveal at the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Sure, did Jason get offed? Yeah, he did, and Greg did too. Okay, I'm good with that. Kirby's introduced. We have a great story that's building off of what we had in 5. Then I get the next thing that I want, is seeing two Ghostface attacking at the same time on screen. Love that. Fantastic. Great, right? And then we get to the ending. Everything about the ending in the third act is god awful. Gail surviving?
Yeah.
God awful.
Well,
Chad
yes, but
surviving? God
Gale
awful.
is
Ethan?
a tumor in the entire franchise, though.
Chad, best
Until
girl.
she becomes the cult leader, she is a tumor in the entire franchise. So I can't include her in my ranking because I hate her.
Okay, I'm still going here. Ethan eating a knife? God awful. The whole hiding a body and switching bodies out? God awful, right? Our reveal of the worst Ghostface or the worst trilogy of Ghostface in the entire franchise. God awful. Their motive is now a repeat of Scream 2. God awful. Horrible. And to
That's like
Lucas's
Scream
point,
5
which
when
was
they rebooted Scream.
listen to me. Hush up. To Lucas's point, the wiping of the knife, you're wrong, because that is Stu that wipes the knife. It is not Billy.
Oh,
Yes,
Stu
I do know
is
that.
the
I do
person
know
that
that.
wipes the knife.
I do know that.
So they
That is
got
something that
that
I knew.
wrong too. They got it wrong too. They got the whole entire ending of this movie is wrong, and it ruined the entire movie.
Yeah, but do you think that she knew that it was Stu doing that? She knew that they were both a
to
part
be
of the
fair,
Ghostface
I'm
map.
pretty sure she didn't really know her dad. Isn't that like the whole
Yeah, she didn't
point?
find out until she was 13. So you think she's
Okay.
like on
So
Google?
then why
like,
include
who
it?
did the knife swipe in
Because
Scream
it's like it's the
1997?
include
Ghostface
it?
thing. They all do it, don't they?
No, they don't.
Because it's showing that Sam is becoming them in the
Oh
very
my
process of
god.
trying to escape her
Y'all
father.
forgetting that she did it in part 5 first. Y'all
She
forgetting
did
that
do it
she
in
did
part
Yeah.
5 first. So
Yeah.
it makes
True.
But where was
absolutely
your
no
issue with
damn
it with
sense.
5 in your
Makes
ranking,
no
sir?
sense. Makes no sense.
But you never have an issue
Horrible.
with ranking with 5.
Huh?
And yes, I
Which
will
5
agree. I
is a
will
lot
agree.
better. The reveal is better. The motive is better.
No, I think
Dude,
that
how
overall
is
the acting and
what the hell is their name? What's it? Is it Detective Bailey? Is Bailey his real last name?
no,
Is it
I'm
Richie
not disagreeing
Kurtzer?
with you.
What's
No,
their
no,
last names?
listen
There's
to me.
so
Listen
many
to
holes
me.
in this
Just
movie.
listen to me. I'm not disagreeing with you that
Whoa.
the motive was stupid. I also agree
It destroys the whole movie.
No, I groaned in the theater listening to that motive. I thought it was stupid as well because I was waiting for Stu to come back. Because the ending was overall just kind of dumb. But I'm looking at it from the perspective. Shut up. I'm looking at it from the perspective of Sam finally, because this ending is. These movies are not about the Ghostface. They're about Sam becoming Billy. That is the point of 5 and 6, and you just need to pay attention to that. Because even though she's trying to escape her father and the images of her father, and she successfully did that in 6, is because she is now her father at the end of 6. She has turned that path to evil. Yes, she has. Yes, she. Bro,
Bullshit.
Look
She
what
was
she
more
did
Billy in 5 than she was in 6.
No, she was more Billy in 6. Look what she did to the detective in the end. She was she dressed up as her father in his costume. She used his knife. She was brutal with the detective, and she even did the signature Scream 1 Ghostface knife swipe. She crossed that path at the end of 6. She became a serial eater, and she didn't even realize it. She lost the battle with her psychosis, and that was something that they should have played into with 7. And instead, we got this stupid 10-year time gap with Sydney that no one wants to see, or that I don't want to see. I'm sorry, because 50% people want to see it. But 5 and 6 are not about the ghost faces themselves. They're about Sam and her descent into psychosis.
I don't know.
My good sir. That's fine. Drink all you want. Have your perspectives all you want, my good sir. I do not care.
Look at this. Look, if you were here for the beginning of this episode, this was filled to the top. It is no longer filled to the top. It is almost gone.
I had some. Let's be real. I had some as well. So you're on your own, my good sir.
Yeah.
That means it's getting its usage. So
I'm gonna be so for real. I personally don't see the whole leading her up to be a serial killer or a serial eater.
I
don't see it. I don't see it. I watched 5. I see. All right. If I'm not gonna be able to talk,
go ahead.
No, I see it more of because I guess it's probably just more so I don't want to see her become the villain because I feel like that would just be too forced since they haven't leaned into it enough of her being like truly actually psychotic. But they haven't really though. Because all they've showed her, all that they have shown,
and I don't understand it.
All that they have shown really is that she has a lot of trauma responses when it comes to anything regarding her dad, specifically the serial eating of her dad. And when it comes to that, yeah, it makes sense that she does a lot of the shit that she does because of how the fuck normal people react to that stuff and how it's been played that people in the Scream franchise aren't exactly sane to begin with, to be quite frank.
I'm committed that this universe is not normal in this Scream reality, and these people are like superhuman because they take a lot of damage.
I would much rather see her become like a Ghostface unaliver for like good.
Yep.
Oh, you mean like dress up as Ghostface?
Kind of like a Dexter situation.
Would you mean like dress up as Ghostface and fight other Ghostface within the Ghostface cult?
Yeah.
I have a question.
I think that's a great idea. I think she twists the reality of good and evil, but she's still like being Ghostface. Go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say I have a question for all of you afterwards. Marcus, go ahead, Marcus. Where you got
it? I got it as a must watch. I personally enjoyed it. I like I don't like the motive, just because it was a repeat again. But I liked how aggressive whoever the stuntman was in this. I forgot the guy's name, but him being Detective Bailey. I like the aggressiveness of this Ghostface in this movie. Especially
Where's CG? Go ahead.
Especially the bodega scene. The bodega scene is probably one of my favorite scenes.
The bodega scene was awesome.
Yeah, the bodega scene was badass, man.
Also, the scene that they showed in the trailer that was also in the movie with like like going across like with the slashing scene where like you see like the wind movement. Like I love that, and I also love that all four of us have different perspectives of like why we liked or disliked the movie. I very much enjoy that because you liked it for like the stunt work, and I liked it for the exact reasons that you didn't like
Who
it.
the hell are you pointing at?
I love
I'm pointing at Marcus. For me,
It's
Marcus is up here and you're up here,
BR80 brunch.
and Lucas
I
is right
love
here.
I love.
I'm
the
sorry, you're in
unalive
different
moments.
spots, I guess.
Yeah, I love the unalive moments.
Yeah.
There were some cool ones, especially with Mindy's girlfriend on the ladder. I love that one. That
Annika
was
should
awesome.
not have died. Poor Annika.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that one.
probably no.
Now,
From
even
my
though I
mo-
wasn't a big fan of Ethan and what's the sister's name? I can't think of
Redhead
her
Quinn.
name.
number 3.
Quinn. God awful Quinn.
Quinn. I still remember Quinn from being the girl in Sons of Anarchy that got assaulted by the clown.
Oh.
But I didn't mind them. We could have done without them personally, but I did love that shot of the both of them cleaning the knife after they took out Chad, man. Well, that to me, that was like one
They
of the
didn't
best.
take out Chad.
Yeah.
He fucking lived. He
I
got
know he
stabbed 30
lived, but I
times.
mean, I know he lived. But you know what I meant.
He's the new.
You know what I
He's
meant.
the
Like,
new
for that
Dewey.
moment.
He's the new
For that
Dewey.
moment,
Yeah.
he was out. He was
Best
out.
girl.
Can I say? So I want to be honest. My honest, like my first reaction in theater was like, "Oh my god, how the fuck is he alive?" But I was like, I'm so glad that he lived.
He is the best girl. He is the best girl, and I want him to be the final girl of the next
Look,
movie.
I love the characters.
He's in the
but
next
come on.
one. He's in the next one somehow.
Yeah.
He's got to, dude. He has.
I mean,
to be last
if you
alive.
compare
if
it
he's
to
not,
like
I'm gonna be
Dewey
so upset.
getting stabbed in the back, like as like that is very like I know he's getting stabbed everywhere, but like it's Dewey also being alive for as long as he was alive, getting all of these stab wounds in different movies doesn't make as much sense equally. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it was. They both didn't make sense. So they're the pin cushions for the franchises. That's what it is basically. So I don't know who they're incorporating as the pin cushion in 7. Maybe one of Sidney Prescott's kids. Hope Gale. Because I can't stand this woman. I absolutely can't stand this woman. But
my God. This is Spider-Man 3 of the Scream movies. That's what this movie is. This is Spider-Man 3 of the Scream movies.
That movie's funny though.
But you can tell when the studio gets in and ruins Spider-Man 3 because it's good the first 2 acts, and then the third act it jumps off a cliff. And that
wait, we need Gale to live.
You need Gale.
We need legacy characters because Sydney will come back because we won't pay her.
Yeah. I'm so angry. I'm so angry at this list because we have Scream 6 a must watch, and we haven't ranked them yet. We just have our final tiering right here, right now, and we have to rank them. There's a potential for Scream 6 to be number 2 out of the entire franchise. I just can't get it. I'm losing my mind.
Between Scream 5 and Scream 6, I would put it at number 2.
God.
If we're taking bets now, I would put it at number 2 before Scream 5.
My God.
I will put 5 over 6.
Oh my God.
I would also.
All right.
6.
All right. So I'm talking to Danny live right now.
Tell him he's got to join StreamYard if he wants to vote on where Scream 5 and 6 must be.
Oh my God.
He can't vote otherwise. He's punished.
Oh my God. I know he's gonna say. I don't even have to ask him because I know what he's gonna say. So, all right. So Marcus, Scream 5 or Scream 6? Which is your number 2 based off of our voting here?
Scream 5 over 6.
Okay. Lucas.
5.
You going with 5? Okay.
All right, I get outvoted. I get it. I understand.
You definitely got outvoted because I was. I'm not choosing 6.
Why would I ever assume that you would choose 5 over 6? Come on.
Oh my God. Oh, damn. All right, so we're going for a number 4 here. So is it Scream 2 or Scream 4? Marcus, what do you got? Scream 2 or 4 at number 4?
2 for me.
2. All right, Lucas.
4.
All right. No, 4 or 2? You froze. That's right. I can hear you from the other room. You did freeze. So, let's see here. So I know, based off of Danny's voting and my voting, that we are going for Scream 4 in the number 4 spot, which it did not move on my screen. So now we got moving. And no, I can still hear you talking from the other room, but I just can't see you moving.
He's just looking very intently at this list.
You guys cannot hear it, but he is actually yelling at his computer right now that he cannot get on. All right, so no,
it was working
there he is.
all
There
night.
he is.
It's working all night, right? It's working all night. Now it's time to be a bitch. Scream 4. I would rank Scream 4 higher than Scream 2.
All right, so that's our final rankings there. So we got Scream 2022. Scream. I can't even say it. I can't even say it. We got Scream 6 at number 3. Oh my
That's
god!
Danny. I want to hear his reaction live in the chat.
Inside Dave, you poor soul, you're just.
It hurts
He's
so much to
flipping the
say it.
table internally.
Oh my god!
It hurts so much to
I
say it.
don't know. I think
It's
your
okay.
heart's
I
in the
can
vibe too
take
much on
Scream 6 as
6.
a good 3. I like Scream 6. I just don't think it's I don't know.
I'm gonna have to buy another bottle of whiskey
I'm
for when we
glad
rank killers there. You froze again. Oh boy.
I wasn't expecting you to rank Scream 6 so low. Danny has some strong opinions, and I understand because he's a strong opinion kind of guy. But I expected you to rank Scream 6 a little bit higher based on your opinions of behind the scenes work. So it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me for your love for the franchise and the things that you love about the film, which is a lot. It kind of surprises me.
Look, when we did our 5 things on the worst Scream unalivers in the entire franchise with Sister Pam, who does a lot of Scream content, so shout out to her. All 3 of them are my number 1. I hate every single person that is under this mask, with the exception of Jason. They all suck.
So not 3 of them.
Quinn, Detective Bailey, and Ethan. They are my least. So you're getting a preview of what's going to come in the next couple weeks. I hate those characters. They're neck and neck with Nancy Loomis for me. I just do not like them.
Yeah, their motive, so their motive is more understandable than Nancy Loomis's because, like I said, Nancy Loomis abandoned her child, no contact. She's a shit mother. A shit mother. So their motive makes a little bit more sense because you could also just kind of assume since Richie was this way and these people are also doing this, that they're kind of just that family. Where the hell is the mom also? Like, the mom just has no idea what's going on.
No. So in what was cut from the movie and wasn't filmed is that Ethan actually offed her.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So the mom was the only sane one of the family, and she was taken out first. That's crazy. They should. Why are they not incorporating these cuts?
Right?
Why
not do that?
Like, I have this question, and now it's answered because of a scene that was cut from the film. That makes you should have. That would have made so much. Could you imagine? Now we know who one of the people is, and it's Ethan. As we see Ethan do it, that would have been so. That would have been cool. I would have loved an initial reveal from the beginning. That would have been cool. So I will agree that the people playing Ghostface, lame. Their motive made more sense than Nancy Loomis, but still kind of lame on its own. But knowing that they're kind of just crazy as a family makes sense. That's my opinion. But we'll leave that for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one. That is definitely going to be an interesting one.
I'm gonna have to do some research. I'm gonna have to fully rewatch it and just watch characters on screen as themselves, not as Ghostface, and see how I like them portraying themselves and also portraying Ghostface.
All right, so
if
you're still hanging with us, drop in the comments what your ranking is. So this is M. Busca. We got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 3. That's a fairly good one. 4 and 2, I kind of swap out there.
I can understand why 3 is last. We have it at last for.
Yep.
So I understand that.
Yep. shouldn't be last. 6 should be last, but that's where I'm at. Let's see what else we have out there. I'm
All right,
trying to.
we get it. You don't like 6. Relax.
Oh boy. Marcus has been keeping up with the comments that have been coming through, so I'm just trying to take a look here. Yeah, well,
Dual
yeah.
monitors
So
now.
here's a good question. So I like the OG trilogy better than the new one. So what do you all think? So 1, 2, and 3
Is part
versus.
4 included in the new trilogy?
I wouldn't include that in the new trilogy because it was
Is
supposed
it
to
like
be the
its own
start
thing?
of a new trilogy. It was supposed to be its own trilogy.
So would you say it's like Scream 1 through 3, Scream
And
4, and then Scream 5 and 6?
that's how I would look at it. Yeah.
I would say so. I like because of the chemistry that the core 4 has and the way that they like act together on screen. I think I like them more. I don't know. I just others, man. I hate her so much. Like it's so because like Sydney, Dewey, I love Dewey. Like Dewey carries that franchise for me. I love Sydney. She's great. I hate her. Gail Weathers' character only serves a purpose if she becomes the cult's leader in a future movie. And I feel like they have to do the 10-year time gap to age up for the failed Botox.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like
Jesus.
I hate it. The core 4. The core 4 absolutely. So I would say the new trilogy. I would also say that I prefer 4 to like the first 3. So like 4, 5, and 6 I prefer to the first 3. Because I think that they like I don't know, maybe because I prefer how more along like when the movies that are made when I was born. Because 4, 1, 2, and 3 weren't made when I was born. So the way that movies are made now that I'm alive, when I was alive, 4, 5, and 6 makes more sense to me. So I'm more comfortable with the cinematography and the way that the story is played out. So I think that in that aspect, that's why I prefer like 4, 5, and 6 a little bit more. But also I hate others. I think core 4. I love their on-screen chemistry. Like that's my biggest thing is that they have such great on-screen chemistry.
Yep.
And like even though that David Arquette and Courtney Cox, like I like Courtney Cox. I think she's a great actress. I just hate Gail Weathers. Courtney Cox and Gail Weathers,
yeah, I
or
hate
Courtney
Gail.
Cox and David Arquette, they were married. And I still think that the core 4 had a better relationship, and that kind of shows with like the behind the scenes aspects of and what everything that happened, like the firings and all that. So yeah, that's new trilogy for me. I'm gonna stop rambling.
You know what? It's if Scream 1996 wasn't so damn good, I would have to say that I would go with 4, 5, and 6 because I love 4, I love 5, I don't really like 2, I really don't like 3 because the way it is. But this kind of leads me to my question to all of you and even people that are watching. They can drop it in the comments. If we do not get a follow-up to the story arc of Sam and Tara in 5 years, 10 years, what does that do to those 2 films? Does it bring those 2 films down? Do they stay as is? Or, hey,
Brings those 2
maybe in
films down
15 years we see a sequel and then we're happy. So,
that's why
Marcus.
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Marcus, go
wondering
first.
with the whole inclusion of Chad in this one, like there has to be some type of mention, especially with the time jump.
They have
They have to mention Sam, Tara, and Mindy in some form.
You would have to see that they're talking people behind the scenes, talking money, right? Like with
you got to,
Melissa
because it's just weird that they just go off and ignore, what took place.
Right.
Films.
I agree with Marcus 100% there. Like it wouldn't make sense that they incorporate these one character and then like not also be talking about having these other characters in the future. That I 100% agree with. I don't know, because like I'm kind of going into this so I'm gonna have to compare it to. I know we've been comparing this to Marvel a lot, so I'm gonna have to do it again with everything after Endgame, right? So I'm comparing this to everything after Endgame. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch Scream 7 because I like the Scream movies. Everything, including 3. I like every Scream movie. I will watch every Scream movie, and I will enjoy every Scream movie. I will enjoy it. I'm not looking forward to this one. I'm really not, and that sucks to say for this franchise because, like, with Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, like watching those franchises, Halloween, there are distinct movies that I can skip and not give a fuck about skipping because they suck, and I can respect that with being Friday 13th being ranked as one of my favorite franchises. But with Scream not even being ranked in like my top 3 as my favorite franchises, and genuinely enjoying all of the movies, just watching them. It sucks to say that I'm not looking forward to seeing this movie because I was looking forward to 5 and 6 and seeing it in theaters, but with 7 I'm not. So I'm really hoping that they actually care about what the fans want to see, and at least if they're not going to show it, build up towards it. You know what I mean? Like build up towards what the fans want to see for 8 and 9. I think that's something that they can do, especially with bringing Chad back. And I would hope that they bring his sister back. I love the twins. I think that they're great. They really embody like the 2 personalities that Randy had throughout the franchise before he was taken out. So I love the twins in it. I hope they're both back in it, and I really think that this is a good way to bring Melissa Barrera back as Sam and like just have Sam Sarah back. So I would say no to answer your question. I would say no. I don't think it's gonna diminish 5 and 6 for me because I'm not going into this thinking that it's even connected because it's a 10-year time gap, and to my knowledge, it has nothing to do with the previous films of 5 and 6. It's its own thing. It doesn't take place in Woodsboro. It takes place on Sydney's perspective. We have no idea what's going on. And it's 10 years in the future. So this really can't,
That's
in my
confirmed.
opinion, is it a 10-year time gap? Right? That's
It's not confirmed yet. Not confirmed.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say it has to be older because if Sid's daughter is gonna be like kind of grown, whether she's a teenager, or
okay. To be fair, she
20s,
did have a kid
yeah, it
in
had to be.
5.
She
and
had
they
It's
two.
didn't
got to be
mention that-
10. It's got to be around 10 years. Yep.
Okay. So if it's so whatever the time gap is, there is a
They were
few
toddlers in
years
5.
in between 6 and 7. So there wouldn't be a story connection, at least in my opinion, to what was going on with Sam and Tara in 5 or in 6. I mean, it would have no connection. Because why would the people going after Sydney in 7 have any connection to 6 and 5? Because it's Richie's family. So, I don't know. So 5 and 6, no, it would not diminish it for me because this is a new, like you said in the last week, how this is officially a new reboot to a new trilogy. I don't think it's gonna diminish it because it's already shown that it's not really connected, other than bringing Chad back in some unknown storyline. And I really like Sam's story arc in 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I would say no.
All right, Lucas, do you think that if we don't get the conclusion to this story arc, it's going to bring the other 2 films down?
At first I said yeah, significantly. I don't think so much more significantly, but I do think yeah, just because I think at this point, if they don't get Melissa Barrera, Sam back now, it's probably never going to happen, and then it's just going to be another. We attempted to do something cool. It got kind of cool, and then face down.
They screwed up, and then they tried to make it up to her with Abigail. So
yep, I think Scream 7 is going to be the next Scream 4. It's going to bomb in theaters, and then they're gonna we're going to take a break instead of actually backing up the dump truck.
I'm yelling at my screen again.
Yep. All right, let's take a look at some questions here. So we have Scott Walker. What would everyone's reaction be in the movie theater to see Stu alive in the reveal at the end of one of the movies, and it turns out to be Stu? What would everybody's reaction be? So
I could tell you.
Answers. Yep, before everybody answers. So Five Nights at Freddy. This is the reaction that we had when he yelled out in the movie. I always come back. I jumped out of my chair and I was clapping. And there was people doing it for different reasons because people are familiar with the FNAF reference, and there was people that were there to see him as a slasher. And I was looking at because he does the knife swipe, right, Lucas? He does the knife swipe in FNAF. He does the knife swipe, and he yells that out, and it's like, this is what we want in the next film.
I might actually
I will jump out of my seat.
I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be Deadpool and Wolverine all over again when Blade stepped onto the scene.
Yep.
When Blaze stepped out, when they showed the
Tears,
heroes,
like actual tears. I might actually cry because
the
it's so serious.
theaters, when Blaze stepped onto the screen, the theaters erupted. Like
Yep.
everybody lost their mind. And I think
Yep.
that's what's gonna happen with Stu if he were to
Mhm.
pop up. Yeah.
If
Ah,
this happens, it is going to be all over the place. You're not going to be able to avoid this leak because it's going to be everywhere. People are going to be talking about this as the biggest thing because like before Scream 6 came out, we did on one of our shows. We talked about what do we want to see, and I was like, "Hey, I want to see this, and I want to see two Ghostface showing up and attacking one person at one time." And in the theater, for me personally, I was like, "Yes, yes, we get to
they
see
did
two
it.
Ghostface.
They
We
did the
did
thing.
it."
Oh,
Yep. So, Lucas, what do you think? What would your reaction? What do you think people's reactions are going to be if we see Stu back? Oh boy.
I hate this so much. I'm out of whiskey. So please
Pure
say something that I
elation
like
and joy.
from you or from the audience.
For everybody, it's fucking. It's the guy. It's
You
the
messed up
guy.
your mic.
Oh, I know.
You know what I would love though? If
Where
he
you at?
returned though, if he returned, I would love to find out, like say if it was Kirby, if they brought her back, or even Sid or somebody to mention that originally he was a patsy. Like he was supposed to take the fall.
Mhm.
You know, like he wasn't
Yeah,
supposed to
I,
be.
I, I
I
like
would
the
just love
idea
to
that
see his
maybe he did
reaction.
play.
Yeah, I would love to see his reaction to that, to him just snapping and losing it. Like,
So
yeah.
I want to piggyback off of Scott's question because this moment here can really set the tone of what's going to happen for the next film, right? If it happens, this is going to be probably one of the most spoiled moments out there for people that do not see it in the first couple of days because
Oh
there
yeah,
are
it'll be like
YouTubers.
David.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's going
Oh
to be
my God.
YouTubers
Yeah.
that are going to like, hey, I'm going to put Stu's body there, but I'm going to make it white because I'm going to fool people. But you're going to look at
Mhm.
those thumbnails and you're going to say, yep, that's Stu. So now
It'll be
I'm
like
ruined.
all the Gambit memes,
Yep,
like all the Gambit memes that kept coming out. You know, when he was
exactly,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen and people are talking about that as well, it has the potential to destroy anybody from going to see that movie going forward. So there's
Yeah.
can you imagine the pressure of having this movie being so good that you don't bring Stu back, you don't bring Sam back, you don't bring Tara back? You have to have such an amazing story that people do not shit on it in the first day that it comes out, that it spoils everybody from going
Yeah.
to see it.
There's a way to keep this story. There's a way to keep make Scream 7 keep the characters of Scream 5 and 6 relevant to the continuity, so including Kirby, and also be its own thing to set up 8 and 9.
Mhm.
Like, could you imagine? Like, so we talked about this last week, but like, could you imagine taking out such a big it's taking out Sydney in 8, and then that's not 8 and 9 is the repercussions of that. Like the
Mhm.
whole thing is like the repercussions of that. So you continue with what you're talking about, and then I'll give my opinions on this. Unless
No,
you're
go
done.
ahead, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead, you're good.
so I would like to go back to the original thing that you're talking about, like with Ghost, with Stu, with Matthew Lillard. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. We have breaking news.
No.
Oh fuck, Danny.
Danny is here.
Danny!
All I'm saying is
Hill Danny.
that
Hill Danny.
absolutely not. That ranking, whoever you are, I don't care if we get canceled. You sat on the yellow short bus as a kid, okay? There's no way
you
that's the
can't
ranking.
say that. I don't care how funny it is.
There is no way that's the ranking.
This is the final ranking,
Hey,
Danny.
man.
Where were
Absolutely
you?
not.
You weren't here.
I know I wasn't here.
I will say I'm glad you finally showed up to defend your answers at the end of the podcast.
Absolutely
But
not.
unfortunately, your current responses now are not appreciated.
First
Although
off,
your face is, we miss you.
today, Junior, okay? Stop stuttering when you talk. All I'm saying is
I had to listen
that
to it,
Scream,
I
the last
apologize. I
Scream was
switched
the
from
most
Yoo-hoo.
horrible Scream ever, okay? and you're gonna put
Oh
it
my
as
God.
almost perfection, you can get on my face with that.
I put it at
I like
perfection
that.
first, my good sir. The fact that you put it at absolute garbage
Danny,
proves that
look,
you closed
look,
your
this
eyes.
bottle was full, Danny. This bottle was full. Look how much is
You are
left.
not paying attention
The
to the main character of the story, which is not Ghostface is not the main character of Scream, and people need to realize that it is the survivors who is Sam becoming Ghostface in the future. You did not listen, and you were not here. So you do not get to
first off,
voice your opinions.
First off, you're wrong because Sam denied to being Ghostface at the end of the film. That's number one that you're wrong. Number
while
two,
also
the
allegedly
main
choosing to
character.
be
Number
Ghostface
two,
by wearing her father's outfit and using her father's knife
absolutely
to take
not.
out Ghostface.
Hey,
And
hold on.
then
I'm gonna
you
end it.
denounce it, and then you denounce it at the last
Kenny.
second. And then number two, the main character everyone knows is Nev Campbell, which they lost for Scream 7 for obvious reasons. So just saying,
Nev Campbell was
absolutely not. It was the
outshined
worst. It was the
by
worst
Melissa
thing ever. It was
Barrera,
so
and you
predictable,
can't
and
even
nobody
deny the fact Melissa
died.
Barrera
Oh my god, come on,
way
dude.
better. Melissa Barrera has done way
If y'all can't see that,
better in
they were
2
setting
movies.
Sam up. She's basically Anakin 2.0.
Dude, there's no way.
No,
Again,
Anakin 2.0 is horrible.
No, the reason
listen.
why, because just like Anakin in Star Wars, he kept denying the dark side, but he kept feeding into it. Little breadcrumbs
Listen.
kept leading into it. So it was the same with Sam. She kept losing her shit. She was vicious with the knife. You know what I mean? So at some point, she was gonna have a breaking point and
She
just fully
is
embrace it.
denying. Like I said, if you were here, we talked about it. She was denying her father and her draws to the dark side, but ultimately accepted when she decided to put on her father's robe, her father's mask, her father's knife, brutally murdering one of the ghosts, and then also doing the signature Scream 1 Ghostface knife swipe. She ultimately accepted her dark past and who she was by denying it at the end. She is 100% towards the dark side, and that was shown.
Well, and then
shown.
here's the deal. That is
You're not even on
absolutely
camera
bullshit.
right now.
Again, and how are you gonna have 3 Ghostface and nobody die? 3 and nobody die. Worst
What do you mean
fucking
nobody
Scream
died?
film ever, dude. Worst Scream film ever.
Core 4 all survived. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, Core 4 all survived. That's fine.
All
right, lad.
And the misdirect was so obvious.
Because that makes sense too. Because they were shit. They were shit at what they were doing because they weren't in Ghostface stuff like Richie was. They were
Noah, you can try to justify this piece of trash all that you want, dude. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to the ancient and old saying. It all comes down.
So I don't even want to hear it, my good.
All right.
I know.
Absolute
it all comes
trash.
down to the old and ancient.
You're in timeout, motherfucker.
All right, so we gotta pick
Danny,
this
you're
up
laughing.
in 2
You're
weeks.
the one that got muted.
We gotta pick this up in 2 weeks. Lukas has called for it, so in 2 weeks we're going to come back and discuss the worst and best Ghostface killers of all time. So this conversation is going to continue.
He's not contributing to the movie itself because Sam is the reason that the movie is good and so is Ghostface.
Oh, jeez. All right, so Danny, I gotta thank you for jumping in. I needed you sooner, but
we missed you, Danny. We missed you, Danny.
Yep.
It's a pleasure to have you back for a short while.
Good to see you doing good.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Live long and prosper, Danny.
All right, let's get to our second question
this guy.
here. I think Ethan should have been one of the killers. I think Ethan should have been one of the killers. He should have helped take down. Yeah. I agree.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
yeah, that would have been.
That
cool.
would have been interesting. Like, oh my god,
like
are you
that.
really? And then they're like, oh, you're fine.
Because he
played
that
actually
innocent
Yeah.
well that I felt that would have been cool if he would have.
I
I
think
was intrigued.
what would have been a really, really insane thing to do is like I know they were talking about how like apparently he killed the mom or whatever.
Yeah.
Have that be like his psychotic break. He kills the mom. He snaps out of it. He's like, I don't want to do this. And then the family's just like, well, now you have to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So either Ethan just not knowing and then changing who took out the mom, or what Lukas said, both very good potential storylines to improve Scream 6. So I will agree with that.
Yeah, but because when they're in Central Park or whatever park they're supposed
Yeah.
to be in New York, you have Ethan on one end and you have Quinn on the other end, and that was the moment. Like, well, those both are the killers.
Yeah,
And it was very obvious from the way everything was. Yeah, and the way Mindy was explaining things. Like, Mindy, you just told us who they are.
You know what? Because so many people have very strong opinions about this, and I want to be open-minded. It might be the whiskey talking, because I'm not typically open-minded. I'm gonna try and find a way to rewatch 6, because we don't have 6 available in this household to watch. So I will try and find a way to rewatch 6. And next
Paramount
week
Plus.
or when we do this Ghostface rankings themselves, I will give a revision of my review of Scream 6. How about that?
I'm good with that. If we don't own it and it's not in the video store currently,
I've seen it
that
once.
Tells you why
You bought 5 twice. It was just an accident. You can't play it off any other way.
No,
you've done this before. You've done it before. You can't even say you haven't done it before. You've bought multiple movies at once on accident. You bought Scream 5 twice on accident. You can't even say that's because you didn't like Scream 6. You did it on accident.
I hated that movie so much I bought the one before it twice.
Your ADHD got the better of you and you don't want to admit it.
All right, so we got another question here. We'll move on. We're not going to address that. So, do you guys think McKenna Grace's character in 7 is a relative of Casey Becker from one like her cousin? That's I like that.
Yeah, because they haven't listed what her character is yet.
I have no idea who the fuck McKenna Grace's is.
Ghostbusters.
Sabrina. Ghostbusters. Oh yeah, that's not Sabrina.
Yeah. Which
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters?
I haven't seen the new Ghostbusters movies.
Afterlife or the female reboot?
Afterlife and Frozen. She's the girl with the glasses. And
okay. Well, now I know who you're talking about.
But Casey Becker is Drew Barrymore. Yes, just so I'm remembering correctly.
Yes,
that would be interesting. That would be an interesting relation, because it seems like that area is like a tight knit, like close, like everyone knows each other kind of community. So that would make sense, I think.
Yeah, the rumor actually has it that like I said, it hasn't been confirmed who she's playing, but the rumor is that she's going to be Sid's daughter.
Yeah, there is
her and Mark's daughter. Yeah,
she has had black hair at one point, so.
There is a Mackenzie in one of the films. I just can't remember. It could be because I'm half a bottle of whiskey in because of these picks tonight. But there is a Mackenzie follow-up in the franchise.
You were 2/3 away. I also had a glass from that bottle.
Dude, you had a glass.
I had a half a glass of whiskey. Yeah. My glass was over half full.
Now,
I'm on my 4th glass there, buddy.
Now, to be honest, because my girl is in this movie too, Anna Camp, I wouldn't mind Anna Camp being related to Casey Becker. From the first movie.
All right.
Yeah. Anna Camp is the girl from
I have no
True Blood.
theories about this movie because I have a more interesting concept in my head about this movie.
Like we talked about in the previous episode, Anna Camp has me there. So we're not going to talk about why, but yeah, definitely. Anna Camp, definitely. Yep.
I'm above all this male testosterone. I go for the concept of the story.
Well, Anna Camp is something different. She's on this Samara Weaving type
That's
of level.
fine.
No, Anna Camp is she's a badass actress. Yeah.
I don't know. I have no I have no real theories about this movie because I just have way better concepts of what this movie could be in my head that we have all already discussed. So I don't so I guess my theories are just what could potentially be this movie, provided that they listen to the fans.
All right, so let's take a look at this question. One other question I have for 7 is how will Chad fit in a Sydney-focused story? Cause she never met him in 5, and she wasn't in 6.
Yeah,
so
by being the final girl.
He's not the main character though. Sydney is.
Nah.
Or be the first taken out in the beginning, like everybody.
Maybe he's in that location for college. And he's dating Sydney's daughter, depending on how old Sydney's daughter is.
Straight up.
Well, how old is Sydney's daughter, though?
He was already in college in 6. It's 10-year time jump. This is a grown man now.
Never mind. Because I don't know how old Sydney's daughter is.
Exactly.
Sorry, Chet, that was my mistake. I forgot that they're kids in 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
and 6 is
I
not
think
going to
I think what we're seeing here is a pull from Scream 3, where Randy's sister shows up. It's like, oh look, I got a videotape here. Watch this
Yeah,
videotape
yeah,
from
yep, yep,
Randy.
yep, 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 yep.
This is
Yep,
the only
I can see
way I
that.
think Chad fits in. Is
And
Chad shows up?
then
It's like, hey, guess what?
Unless we're getting a huge
that would
twist,
be a
and it's a
perfect.
huge.
That would be a
What?
perfect setup to have Mindy on the video.
My
If
thought
they-
process
She's
is,
not in the movie.
if
If
it's not
they-
that, it's a big role.
It
It's a
look.
big role.
Let me tell you right now. If Mindy, if Kirby, if Tara, if Sam are killed off screen, I'm walking out of
Oh
the
yeah, yeah, I
movie.
would be pissed.
I'm
Yeah, I would
done.
be pissed.
I will agree
never
with that,
return
because
to the
that is
franchise again.
that is stupid. That would be the dumbest shit I've ever heard, especially
Like,
since
I wouldn't-
Kirby was confirmed to be alive off screen.
Yep.
I wasn't saying like kill Minnie, but just have her like zoom in with the technology or something, zoom in and give the rules or something like that. I don't know if they're not going to have her actually in the movie.
Oh my god, could you
Find a
imagine?
way to put her in the movie, you know,
Could you
something
imagine
like that.
Chad has a big role in helping them try and fight this person, because he's it's they're bleeding into Woodsboro and then they leave. He goes after Chad and the Core 4 somehow, but they don't mention the entire Core 4, just Chad and Mindy. And then he goes to go after Sydney instead, and then Chad goes and helps Sydney, and then he tries to get Mindy on chat, and they're talking, because it's like, Mindy, I need your help. Tell me the movie logic, and then you get the same type of thing that Randy did in Scream 3. So it's this is their Scream 3, and 5, 6, and 7 is 1, 2, and 3. It's 5, 6, and 7. So you have her giving the rundown of how a reboot trilogy works, and who's safe and not safe, and what could happen, because new cinemas are trying to do big new things with the company. So the person who's playing Ghostface might do big new things. I think that'd be really funny to see Chad in a big role in that way, and then seeing Mindy in a very small role, but also showing the Core 4 is still prevalent in the Ghostface war against the cult. I think that'd be really funny and cute to show in there, like they did with Scream 3. Because seeing Randy on screen in the camera, I thought that was really funny, and I love that.
All right. Anybody want to add to that one? Because this next one, I hate the idea. But we'll talk about it.
Wow, that's
all right. So, what do you guys think about Stu coming back, but instead of going after Sid, having her come after him by going after the cult leader, not knowing who it is, for rookies aiming her family?
So you mean Sid is she realizes that there is a Ghostface cult, and she tries to go after people who are a part of the Ghostface cult, not knowing who is a part of Ghostface? Yeah. I can see that only if in the the first scene of the movie, maybe some her husband, Patrick Dempsey, since he's doing Thanksgiving too, he makes a short cameo, he gets taken out right in the beginning of the movie, and then she goes after them, and then realizes throughout the throughout the movie that there's this cult Ghostface that's been going on since Scream 2, and then she starts going after them. Then we see Stu come back, we see Gail as one of the Ghostface people, and then so that could
I still want Gail to be the main one.
I want Gail to be the main one too. It could make sense. I particularly wouldn't want it to play out that way. I wouldn't want to see, but seeing Sid have a bloodlust storyline would make sense to why she would lose initially. So if Sid gets taken out in 8, it would make sense that she's not going in hot and heavy, because when she's she's never been attacked by Ghostface and been prepared. She's always been on the defense and won. So if she's on the offense and loses, that would make sense. So I can see why that would make sense. But based on story, I don't know if I would like that switch up enough, especially since knowing that Stu would come back. If it was a prevalent role, I would want to see it in some other way. But I think that Stu would probably need to be a cameo in 7, and then a big role in 8. And then 8 would need to be the switch up from how the movies between the formula that Scream has. So 7 should be the formula for the most part, and then at the end they have a twist, and then 8 is a new formula. That's how I think it should go. So no, but I do like where your head's at.
Lukas, go ahead before I answer.
Oh, I was
You
just
already had a rough opinion.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I gave my layout of what my ideal Scream 7 would be. I think when we did our prequel series, like talk, like or prequel movie show, whatever the fuck. Like I laid it out. Like I want to see Stu come back, but I want it to be Gale to be the big bad of it all. I want it to come down to that final showdown and the first, like I said, the first blood that she gets on the mythical white Ghostface costume is Sydney's.
It saves the character. The character as a whole, like for me, gets saved by the realization that she has truly been the evil behind it all. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That saves the character for me.
This right here screams Blumhouse, where we have Sydney now becoming the hunter, going after the prey, which is now Stu. I would this is another thing that would make me walk out on the movie. If we have
showing
Sydney,
that the protagonist is not weak, kind of deal.
Yeah, I don't need that. Like the current Halloween trilogy is this comment right here, and I'm glad you put the comment there. But that's what the current Halloween trilogy is where we have Laurie Strode become this hunter, this predator by the end. I don't want to see this for Sydney. I think if this were to happen with Sydney going after Stu and seeking revenge because all of that torment, and it makes sense, right? Because I think anybody in real life, if they've gone through such trauma like this, at some point they're going to snap and they're going to give it back. I think it destroys the entire character of Sydney and it destroys the entire franchise. And if this were to happen, I will never watch a Scream movie again because it's the same thing that Blumhouse tried to do with Laurie Strode.
I can agree with your most recent comment where you said like it destroys Sydney's character. But as far as like, so what Blumhouse did to Laurie Strode's character in the new Halloween reboot trilogy, like that's because of Blumhouse. I think that could have been a really good story, like with her being on the offensive. I think that could have been really good for Halloween's new trilogy franchise had Blumhouse not fucked it in all holes. Sydney though, I think Sydney as just like the protagonist and being the hero as like a shield for those who are being victimized and can't defend themselves after because after the first film, that's kind of what she developed into being. Like when she realized that this was kind of like something that she really couldn't escape. She was like, I will be the shield and sword to carry throughout to make sure that the people who are being targeted are protected. So I like that aspect of the character, and I don't think that it should. So to your point, I don't think that should be muddied. Like I think that should probably stay. I think that if she gets, so I genuinely believe that Sydney should be taken out in 7. I think that it's time. I think that we need to lay the character to rest. If you take Dewey, you took Dewey out. I think that Sydney needs to go. But that's just because I want the core 4 to come back in a big way, in a very like left in like the good versus evil way. Like Sam is bad, and like they're all struggling with what they have to do to like deal with someone that they're so close with, and someone that's a part of their relationship, and their core 4 is now turned to the dark side. Do they help her? Do they take her out? That kind of stuff. I want to see that. So like in my mind, there's only one route this goes, and it's not what the studio is gonna do. But I think that Sydney needs to go out the same way that Dewey did, and always being that shield and being the defense. Like you played World of Warcraft, League of Legends. You've played those games. The support character. She is the shield. She is the She's the res. She keeps the people healthy. She keeps them alive. That's what I think Sid is. I think she's a moral compass. She's Glenn from The Walking Dead. She's Glenn. She's Michonne. She's the ones that get the bat to the skull at the end of the storyline because they can't have the happy ending. So
I definitely, I feel like she shouldn't be, as far as her going on the offensive. I think she should go. The way they should handle is no more than what they did for her in part 5.
Yeah,
where,
yes, and that's exactly
like
exactly
how she put the track on Sam and Tara, and they
Sword
went to
and
Stu's
Shield
house and stuff. Like no more than that. That's as far as she should go as far as being on the offensive. But
yes,
like
she had a gun, but
right, to what Noah was saying, yeah, she's that tank. She takes all the abuse.
Yep.
She takes all the attacks. You know what I mean? So yeah,
She's the knight
that's
in
her
shining
character.
armor.
That's her
Yep.
character. And that's where
Marcus,
it's
I'm
just like,
glad you called that out because, like, in Scream, this is why Scream 5 is probably number 2 on my list, is because the way everything was done, including her character, the way they delivered her character. Like when she first arrived on screen talking to Dewey, is like, oh my God, there's Sydney. But then when she arrives in the hospital, it's like that warm blanket that get wraps around you. Like if you're cold, it's like, oh my God, Sydney's here. Everything's going to be okay. The way that it was delivered, it was perfect. I
yeah.
can't see man messing with that character anymore. Like maybe switching her to becoming more aggressive and stuff like that. I think it really just screws up
More
that
of a
character.
sword than a shield because she's
Yep.
protecting her family.
Exactly.
That makes sense. She's protecting her daughters and her husband. So being more aggressive in Scream 7 makes sense, which, like I said, would play more into her downfall. But also still keeping in mind that she's not like them. She is different. She doesn't want to hurt people. She just wants justice. She wants the right. She is I think if you look at her character from 1 through 5, she is just a protagonist. She's not a gray character. She is the white and a black and white storyline. She is the good to an evil. Sam is a gray. Ghostface is the black, and then Sid is the white. I think that needs to remain, because if you try to twist it, it's just a twist. It's a twist instead of like taking out Dewey. It's like, oh, that's an unexpected twist. It's a twist. It's a stab and then a twist into the fandom, because it's like, I don't need that. I don't need her being some pathological. Okay, I meant rather than destroying the cult, coming after her family. I have the whole idea, but it's too long, so I just very much capsuled it. Okay.
Like
okay,
I don't need her to become.
Okay, so he's on the same
what's
page
her
as us. He
name?
means
Sarah
like
Connor.
protecting her family in an aggressive way. Okay, so so then so if that's your point, then yes, I 100% agree with that. I think that she should still be herself, but a little bit more aggressive because it's her family and her daughters.
Yep.
That 100%.
This
Mr. Buska, I don't think I've seen you before on the chat. I love your answers and I love your cat.
This is how I view
think
Sydney's change.
One
I don't
second,
need her
Marcus.
to become Sarah. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'll let you go. This is where Kirby comes in, but go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I don't need her to become Sarah Connor, like from T1 and T2.
Yes.
I could see her being more like Ripley from Alien and Aliens, where she was protecting Newt. You know what I mean? Where she became aggressive, but yet she was still, you know what I mean,
for the greater good of humanity.
Yeah.
And that
she doesn't need to become like balls to the wall, the badass,
Yes.
like Sarah Connor type.
And I assume with Kirby, you mean like Kirby is more in that gray area, but like she's the
Kirby could be that.
trying to take
Kirby
down the cult. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So let's transition to
this. Buska, absolutely. Yeah. So it seems like we're all on the same point. So I would say she's just a more aggressive, so she's using the shield to bludgeon you to death. Like that's what it is to protect her family. Like she's protecting her family first and foremost, but she's not in that gray area. She can't be in that gray area because that's not who she is. So yeah.
Kirby. This is what I want to see.
Kirby's the Gray Knight. She's not a Jedi. She's a gray. She's the Gray Knight.
Yep. All right, Lucas, you've been pretty quiet. What do you think?
Oh, I was just gonna say, to the point of, if we were to have, if it was ever to be a thing where Sydney did start acting uncharacteristically, like, I guess it would be more violent than she would be, like, so per se, say they kind of went the Sam route where she starts using their tactics against them, it would always have to be a thing where that would be the reason why she dies. Because if she's going to, obviously have it be for a good reason, but if she's going to give up basically that last bit of like her, I am good, purely good, then it has to have the direct consequence of her, dying.
I do want to kind of like Dewey all over again with him, like saying, "Oh, we got to, go to the head." and he
Yeah.
went back, and then he got
Yep.
taken out. Yeah, so yeah, I agree with that, Lucas.
I do want to say, so using their tactics against them, and then that being her ultimate downfall, doesn't make sense for one reason and one reason only. She has done it in almost every movie. In Scream 1, when she disappeared after they were going to take out Gale, she called them with the voice modulator, hid, got in their head, and then she started taking them out. I don't remember what she did in Scream 2 and Scream 4 specifically, but in Scream 3, she wore the bulletproof vest, and that's what Roman did. So they emphasized that she was doing something new that they also had done. And then also in Scream 2, she had faked out being dead.
Yeah, no, I mean
like
more
they had
so.
done in the first Scream movie. So she's always used their tactics,
Yeah.
and it has always worked.
Oh my
So
god.
that like,
yeah, no,
so
I mean more
for
so
you,
in the brutality aspect of.
Oh,
if,
okay, I
if
got you.
it's her family, she's obviously not gonna want to make sure these people. She's obviously gonna make sure these people aren't breathing.
Yeah, they're in the ground.
But that's the one thing is that if she starts leaning into that brutality, it has to immediately have consequences. It can't just be, left alone. Oh, well, now she's just straight up killing these or unaliving these guys. Like no, it has to be. Oh, she's basically now breaking her moral compass and straight up going for the headshot, and then it immediately goes right back on her.
Well, we saw what happened in 5. Like the tables almost got turned on her because remember she was going there with intention to take out whoever the Ghostface were. She didn't know who they were. She was intending, I'm going to kill them. And then what happens? Amber comes out and like, I got stabbed, and then shoots and Gail got shot.
Marcus,
so,
you're right.
You know what? You got me there. You got me there.
Yep.
You got me there.
That ties into everything he's saying. Yep. All right.
Because she's old. She getting old.
It's all about the themes, man. It's all about thematic control. You got to realize
Ghostface can
that
stay young, but Sidney Prescott is.
If you're gonna have a story about the white, the gray, and the black, you gotta show that the white dipping into the black is an immediate gray.
Yeah. Okay. I've been sold on this question.
Right?
Yep. All right. So the next one, I need you guys' opinion for Stu's return and for him to be the cult leader. Where they have the cult scene at his old house or a different location?
Probably a different location because I think I would personally love the mansion back, the farmhouse back, but I don't know, like, would that be too? Because think about it, like after another vicious attack in Scream 5 at Stu's house, like, don't you think by then they would just be like, all right, let's tear this place down?
Yep.
It's a little cliche to bring it back to the house.
If we might have a moment for a bit of a sponsor break. Brenton with his new Lego set, The Starry Night by Vincent Van Gogh.
That's cool. Wait, where did you get that?
Nice.
Walmart.
Send me a link. I want one. Send me a link. Like, genuinely. That is so. I was actually gonna bring it up at the end of the podcast because he initially showed it at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Well, I think it's
tell Brenton I want one.
Done now, but it looks cool.
Sorry, I know we're getting off topic, but I want one.
I want to talk about this because this is something that I really have a cool idea for. I want Stu to be the faux leader of the cult. I want him to be the figurehead. I want Gale to be the one that's behind everything.
So
that's what I always mean when I'm like, I want Gale to be the
that.
I want her to be behind it. I want Stu to be the front man, basically.
Yep.
A falsified god, like he thinks he is.
Here's the thing, though. If that has to happen, he has to die, and it has to be almost as abrupt as
all three of them.
Yeah,
all three of them should know.
Yeah,
all three of them.
And that's okay. Like I think I told you guys my idea for a Scream 7 going into a Scream 8 is ending Scream 7 with them finally catching up to Stu, and then Gale caps him, walks out in the white Ghostface robe, and then kills Sidney.
I take that in 8. So like I would
see that's
I would do the reveal of Stu in 7. Sidney kills Stu in 8, and then we get the Gale reveal at the end of 8, and we go into 9.
I think I like it better if it's one of the Ghostfaces killing the other one though, because I'd so much rather it be Gale taking him out because he's just annoying. Because
as far as location,
I like psychotic for that.
As far as location, how would y'all feel about going back to Sid's house? That's where Maureen was taken out. That's where they were setting
Sid
up the
Causey
big
taking out a
thing
Marine.
in the movie.
I
Yeah,
like
I
the
don't-
idea of taking it back to where it all began, but at
Yeah,
the
I don't
same
wanna go
I
back
don't know.
to
I
the
don't,
Fist.
I don't think
sucker for
location
Stew Mason.
matters at all. I don't think location matters at all. I think that like while Woodsboro, like as a whole, I like it taking place in Woodsboro as opposed to like, oh, we're back in Manhattan like they did with Friday the 13th.
If there were, if there were anywhere I'd actually really want it to be set, I'd want it to be the Woodsboro High School gymnasium.
That would be cool. Like a Negan stadium, like they're just sitting there on their knees kind of deal. So I have an idea of my own, but for Stu's idea or for Lucas's idea, I mean, where like to capitalize on that, I think that between 7 Stu gets revealed, but in 8 there's like you start seeing the collapse of like the Ghostface subreddit where like people are siding with Stu, but people are also siding with Gale.
Here's the thing, because this is also supposed to be like technically 7's the new soft reboot for a new trilogy, right?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about what the studios are doing. I'm talking about what I want to do.
No, I hear you. But if it's supposed to be the new soft reboot for a new trilogy, have 7 Stu gets revealed, he doesn't die, but near the end of 8 he dies.
I think Stu should have like a very
and then the last movie is Scream Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stu should have like a very small like cult following, and he thinks that he's gonna take out Sydney, and then Gale shows up. Is like, you really thought that you were in charge of all of, like that you were the leader of all of this, and then you just see lights come up, and
like
then it's
literal
just, they're surrounded by
Ghostface
like an army of Ghostface,
Imagine
and then
that.
they all just converge on Stu. He's gone, and then the first bloodshed on that robe is still Sydney's because she couldn't even be bothered to take out her inferior cult leader Stu, who thought that he was in charge of it all. She uses her cult followers in the Ghostface mask to take out Stu, and then she takes out Sydney, and then that's the start to the end of 9.
So there's this movie from some years back called, I think it was called Smiley. And it starred the guy from Walking Dead that had the scene with Glenn that offed himself to save Glenn.
Abraham?
It dealt with the cult. No, the guy that offed himself, he was part of
Nick.
Nick. Yeah, Nick. So the movie was about a cult following a serial killer. I think if Kevin Williamson found a way to kind of adapt that story, because the movie wasn't that great, but I love the concept of the movie. If he found a way to implement that aspect of the cult where it's just massive, I think this could work perfectly for like what you all are like, diving into with Gale and Stu. Yeah. If you get a chance, check that movie out and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I want to be clear though. I would prefer
that's
if
in the
Gale
video
and Stu
store,
work
Noah.
together.
Yep.
I would prefer if Gale and Stu work together. And if Stu was taken out by Gale, it would be a shock and awe moment in 9. Like why would she even do that? It's like, he was there as a help. I no longer need him.
Like I said, she just gives the reason he's annoying.
Yeah,
because it's.
But I think that Stu and Gale should both be in 7 working together, being the downfall for Sydney. Because why would you have a random Ghostface come in and maybe have them help, right? Because you need a young buck to come in to be able to take out Sydney, especially in
I think we should have 3
because this pushes her at like 60 or so. So like you need someone young to be able to take out somebody older.
All right,
I
think we need to do for the end of the month. I think we need to do Scream 7 predictions. Again.
Okay.
All right. So let's go over to our next question because we're at the 2.5 hour
cut
mark.
off
Just
what
about.
I was saying though.
I know, but let's save it.
We'll get there.
What if I forget?
We'll get there.
I'm gonna forget.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna
Watch
talk
the
another
VOD.
2 hours. We're gonna talk another 2 hours
Watch
about
the
Scream
VOD.
7 theories. I'm telling
That's
you right now.
a good question.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
All right, so let's take a look
We're
at this
approaching
one
10.
right here. So we got King Matthew here. I'm also curious in Scream 3 how Roman got Sydney's voice when Roman didn't meet Sydney until the final act, but he uses her voice to trick Dewey to come to the party. Look at that.
Because I was trying to see like how,
Silence.
That's your stumper. That's your stumper.
That would mean that he would have phone calls that took place in previous movies, which would have to coincide with Stu being alive and present in Scream 3.
Damn, I wish
and
I.
didn't
King
I
Matthew
mean,
the Third, you
that whole
brilliant
movie,
genius.
that whole movie, they kept talking about cloning cell phones and stuff like that, but you can't get the phone calls off those
Nope.
clone cell
Not.
phones. So yeah, that's a good question. That's a good one.
And not in the year 2000. And
Exactly.
Not in the
Yeah.
year 2000.
Oh, you know what? So if you don't have
My
previous,
only
unless
thing
it's
he could have
voicemails,
done is with that modulator was like from maybe past interviews and stuff from the previous
yeah.
incidents
So
that he just
that,
collected her voice. That's
but who would have recent calls within that time span that could, like, who would have called Sydney recently, been a part of the cult, and then given those recent phone calls to Roman?
Well, remember he broke into the police station trying to steal stuff, but
True.
Dewey took everything. So maybe maybe off screen somewhere he was able to collect that audio, whatever. Something I don't know.
I think that's either puts Gail or Stu back in the hot spot for being involved in this.
Yeah. Because
I
I
think that-
always
'cause if
question
you
that
also
too. I
notice
was
it
like, how
too-
did he get her voice?
If you notice, like in movies, there are movies where she's more involved in the unalivings and less involved. So like 5 and 6, she was less involved. 3 and 1, she was a little bit more involved, so she got less injuries, kind of deal. Like that's what I a little bit what I like. She got into a car accident, yes, but she gets stabbed, she gets shot. Like, so I've noticed like where she could have been more, like where you notice more evidence as to where she was involved, she had a little bit less injuries. So I feel like not everybody knows that she's in charge.
Yep.
Because not everybody, like the Ghostface realm within this universe is kind of like.
Well, that's the thing. You have it be where nobody knows who the actual big head honcho is, but
she just has like a TikTok reel.
They
Guess
have
who's the killer.
It's the person that has the most amount of contact with this person, with all of these things. It's just they have so much information. How did they have all that information? Yada yada. It's one of the.
It all calls back to Stu or Gail.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Oh, see, now I just want to talk about it more. Damn it.
Yep, we're gonna have to save it for the end of the month. So we'll end with this question here. So Scott, is there different colored Ghostface robes? Which song do you guys find more scary? A red one, or a brown Ghostface robe, or a white Ghostface robe? So
white Ghostface.
we kind of
white was introduced originally.
Yep.
As a concept, and then they switched it to black before the first movie got introduced. I do like that they did that, because one, when it initially came out, much scarier not being able to see anything other than that creepy ass face. But now it also brings the idea of a white Ghostface robe, which we've been talking about for weeks now, where the cult leader, Gail Weathers, would wear that robe, and the first blood stain would be. We've all kind of collectively agreed that would be a good thing to do. So red. I think that if you do red, I wouldn't really want to do brown. I don't think a shit stain would make sense.
I have to
only
see
unless
it.
you think the movie's gonna be shit.
I have to see it.
For red,
He wore
though,
the brown pants.
I think red would make sense for one reason, and I think that's if they were secondary disciples, like the cult leader wears white.
Oh, like an Imperial Guard shit, bro. Oh my god. That
so have you seen?
Promoted him.
So Emma Roberts had a show back in the day. I think it was like early mid 2000s called
Scream Queens with like Jamie Lee
Did you
Curtis
see the different costumes? Yeah,
with
the
Nick
different
Jonas
costumes
and all
the
that.
color.
I think I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they had the Red Devil costume. They had the Goblin
Yep, I know what you're talking
mask,
about.
and they had an all white one too.
Yeah, so like Stu would get a red. I would personally like to see Sam be another like surprise Ghostface. She would get another red robe, and then the red disciples would get black robes. So I think that there could be a hierarchy symbol, because obviously, look at Gail would let this shit go to her head if she finally admitted to being the leader of this and the start of all of this to the people. It's like, I accept you. She would she'd be such a fucking airhead about this. Such a fucking airhead about this. So I think that she would definitely want a robe hierarchy. So white for her, red for the secondaries, and then all of like the random Ghostface disciples that are in this cult but don't really have connections to Gail or to Sam or to Stu, they get the black robes. that would be my that's what I would like my little city. That's what I like.
I like it. I like it. Now we all know, just in case anyway doesn't know that's watching this, the white robe was not used because of the Ku Klux Klan. So that's why it was ruled out eventually.
Oh, I did not know that. I did not know. Good on the 90s. Good on the 90s.
Yeah. Well,
Jesus Christ! I was
we
not
evolved. We finally
in
we
the Scream franchise
in the horror world. Yeah, in the horror genre, as always, we always evolve ahead of all the other genres because we're smart enough to separate everything else and say, yeah, that's not the Ku Klux Klan.
So it's to philosophical. I don't know how you put it. Philosophical. That's the word. We understand to remove certain aspects of horror from the movies because we incorporate real life horror into our movies. So we get rid of stuff that we know bothers people because we know how to bother people. Horror movies intentionally bother people, so therefore we take out the stuff that we know is not cool to incorporate into those movies. That's what comedy is for.
Yep, I love the black robe, and then I saw the white robe on people that cosplay and create it. It's like that's
the blood
really
stains.
good.
The blood stains would be so because by the end the movie's and every robe would be different. Every Roman Ghost Scream 1 through 6 would be different.
Yep. Yeah, so I would have to see the red and the brown to really make the determination on it. So Marcus, you go ahead and take us out. What's your thoughts on different color robes?
I like the idea of the different color robes, man. But I will also like the mask to change a little bit. Like personally, I love the chrome. I love the chrome face mask that
I like the idea of different ghost face masks too.
Yeah,
I like.
And then of course, you already know I love the Brandon James mask from the TV series. So yeah,
but also
I would love to see like a new mask.
To add to your point, we see in Spirit of Halloween, other Halloween stores, they have a Dead by Daylight. They made new masks. They have
variation masks. Yeah.
People on Etsy, they make new masks. You would have to assume that this stuff also because Halloween is so the Ghostface mask in Scream is a Halloween costume. So you would have to assume that people are making different variations of the mask in the movie continuity.
Yep.
For $1, even if it's not officially marketed like it is in Spirit Halloween in reality. So in the movie, Etsy, other small independent markets are making these different variations of masks. I would love to see that because that would make sense. People their own masks. Oh, well, I'm gonna be Ghostface and I'm gonna go out and do this spree, but I'm gonna wear this mask and make it my own thing because I'm my own Ghostface. I'm gonna have my own mark. Because I'm gonna wear the Dead by Daylight one. I'm gonna wear the red mask with the horns, or the ones that they have at Spirit Halloween with the bedazzled ones that are pink and silver, whatever. I think that would be great.
I would be pissed and call copyright infringement if they did a Ghostface mask with the LED lights in the eyes. Because I'd be like, you're ripping us off the screen. You're ripping us off the screen.
You just read my mind. You just read my mind because I can see
so many different masks would make sense. Different masks would make sense. Even the the shitty ones they have at Walmart that are really bulky and plastic, hard plastic. Even those would make sense. Someone's like, oh, I want to do it, but I don't have the money to get a good one. Those robes, if you go on Etsy, they're $400.
Even the coolest part about it is that you can work it into the story in comedy aspects too, where you can make them seem like a threat, but they're still crazy bastards. So it's not anything where it's oh well, they're gonna take over the world. It's not oh, world-ending threat, but still
Okay, I'm back.
He's back.
You get shitty costumes, and they're I don't have the money to get it, but I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this community, this cult. This cult. So I'm gonna go out and get what I can and put my name out there, even if it doesn't work out as well. So that's a perfect way to incorporate the TV show because it's a different mask, but it follows the same routine. So to Marcus's point, the different masks would be amazing because it would add to it. It would add to the openness and the disconnection that this cult has with one another. So before my connection
all right,
goes out
man,
again.
we got a lot to talk about in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
yeah, we got a lot
really
to talk about in a couple weeks. I like the idea. Yep. I think there's a lot of good things that we need to cover in 2 weeks on
This
where
is
it
the
could
first
go, what it
podcast
can
to push
do. So
almost 3.
yeah, that's why I got to end it. We got stuff to do.
We're gonna go.
stuff
We're
to
gonna go
do.
to like 1 in the morning Eastern Standard.
We're
So
gonna.
I'm about to
we're
go
gonna.
finish the number 2 movie I mean the number 3 movie on the list. I'm watching Scream 6 on the computer anyway.
All right. So we'll be back next week. We're going to talk about our favorite unalive moments. We're going to come back in 2 weeks. We're going to rank the ghost faces, and then we're going to come back and talk about theories. Go ahead, Marcus.
Tell them though, with the unalive moments, we're including the TV series too.
Yes, we're going to include those. I don't remember
That's
the
fair.
first 2 seasons of the TV series. I'm not rewatching it, so maybe I'll go and find a highlight video on YouTube. So
I haven't
thank
seen
God.
the second season, so I'm gonna be.
It's
I'm
some
gonna do it.
it's some
seen
good
one,
ones
Reba,
in
you haven't
the
seen
show.
I haven't seen
Yeah, some
season
good
2 now.
ones. Yeah, there's some good ones in the show. So.
All right. So everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for taking part of everything. We truly appreciate you jumping on and being interactive
Thank
with
you,
us.
everybody.
Yep.
Yes,
M,
thank you.
Shout out to
M.
Mr.
Buska.
Buzak.
Yes,
Yep.
M
Buska.
Buzz. Yeah,
M.
For,
Buska.
for all of the monies that you've sent us, we love
Yes.
you very much.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. It feels weird. I feel like I want it. Like I'm genuinely grateful, but I feel like at the same time I feel bad. I think it's just because I live broke, so it's like I feel bad. Like just like seeing this money goes like. We appreciate you just being here, man. We love your participation.
You know, the best part too is it's not even anything. It's not like $1 million, but it's just the fact that it's so hard to come by.
It could be like 5 cents. Like, dude, you didn't have to do that. That was like you could have like done so much with that 5 cents.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I might have to go back to Yoo-hoo next time we do the drinking thing, unless people in the chat thought it was funnier that I was on drinking whiskey.
It was pretty
fun. But yeah, like this is a fun podcast. I had a lot.
I think one of these days we gotta get together in like a room and have one of these podcasts.
Well, one of us lives across the country. So.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on 1 second. 1 second. There's possibly an opportunity to that happen in March. Now, Marcus and I can't talk about it just yet. But we're doing
us 4 or all 5 of us, like
all of
Danny.
us, except for Danny.
Aww.
There's the opportunity that we can do this all together in one room in March. So we're doing stuff that other YouTube channels haven't done before, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about very soon. So
is this the thing that we were doing today?
Yes, this is the thing that we're doing today.
So I also know we all know what we're talking about.
I know.
You know what we're Lucas. You know what we're talking about. I can't try to jog your memory because I know you'll say it if I tell you if I try to jog your memory hinting at it. But you know exactly what we're talking about.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. I know what he's talking about. Chat.
Stay tuned.
I want to talk about it so bad.
Nah, don't tell him.
Like it's so exciting. I can't say anything. I feel like Tom Holland right now.
So, like, for all those that are still tuned in and still watching at this point, with the exception of Lukas is a musician. He does his music thing. The other 3 of us work on film stuff. This is a little bit more exciting than working on a film thing. So we'll talk about it in the future. We will talk about it.
Just put it like this. I keep telling Dave, I have 11 movies that I'm working on this year. And this project is my most anticipated thing, even over those 11 movies that I got to produce. So,
yep. All I'm going to say is for all of you that have supported us over the years, it's for the fans, by the fans. You'll be happy what we're working on, and stay tuned.
Yeah.
So, with that, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and comment. Do all those fun things. Share us, and we'll talk to you soon.
We love you all very much. Thank you for bringing us to this point. Lucas, stop Fortnite emoting! Damn you!
I'm still doing it too.
So well.
I'm still doing it too.
No!
Open
Stop
gaming
it!
style.
At least do a different one. What are you doing now?